Welcome back, one and all, to NACL Split 2 playoffs. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Cubby. We only have 3 series left, and we're in the lower bracket today. We send a team home.
Excited for this one, Mazel. Might be a lower bracket bout with 3 teams left, but these 2 teams have met each other before in the upper bracket. But led to a lot of chaos we've had so far in our playoff run.
It definitely has, and that's the chaos that we love and crave in the NACL. There always seems to be a crazy story going on in the playoffs, and the fact that Supernova are in this position, the fact that Blue Water have the possibility to do the unthinkable, it feels like, in a lot of ways, it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to all that craziness, all the hot and heavy action of a best of 5, we do have some more awards to give away. So today we're going to be doing a countdown for Rookie of the Year. We're going to start off at 3. We're going to go down to the winner. It is for the entire year. That's something to think about, as we did have a lot of roster changes coming into the Split 2. So we're going to start off with our 3rd place Rookie of the Year here. Let's get some drum rolls going and get the reveal going. It is Kay who's going to take it as 3rd place in Rookie of the Year, Cubby.
Not bad for playing one split. And
Not bad.
This might just be all top winners, because I think, for me, this award really came down to Hoarder or TF Blade, who you thought would be Rookie of the Year between the 2. So curious to see if we have TF Blade and Hoarder either or coming up next.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and run that second one as well. 2nd place for Rookie of the Year. We'll see exactly who it's going to be as we get that one coming up. It is TF Blade, as we have foretold. He's been having a heck of a year. I mean, obviously starting off with Near Airport, and the run they had was insane.
Yeah, I think that TF Blade has been fantastic this year. Like, him wanting to compete and play competitively, I think that any questions that I had were doused by him, and like the 2nd or 3rd week when he started playing some other champions we don't see from him in solo queue at a really high level. So continues to play at a high level as one of the teams that are still left in our top 3 are Conviction. So excited to see if Blade can bounce back, and one best of 5 away from actually competing for an LTA North spot with a win next week.
That's what's crazy, is he finds himself in this position at the end of the year. But now, with no further ado, we do have to give away that 1st place for Rookie of the Year. So let's go ahead and see it. Who could it possibly be? I think we've already said his name before. Hoarder will be taking Rookie of the Year. Congratulations. Most deserved. An incredible year from this guy.
I'm excited for Hoarder, man. This guy had a lot of solo queue achievements before he played NACL. His first year of NACL, I think he's had a lot of great plays in the top lane. And top lane, of course, very competitive in that rookie race, as we have had a lot of good ones up there. This split, Hoarder remains one of, if not the best of them. We'll see if he can bring it today, as Supernova going to need him if they want to overcome Blue Water and Quacker.
Yeah, absolutely so. Maybe not a rookie on that side, but definitely something to be worried about. I just have to say, top lane prospects been eating good in ACL here. We've had a lot of big top lane prospects, especially with all the promotions as well this year. So, hey, top lane is the stable of NACL, I guess. As we're going to go ahead and give a shout-out to socials here, because you got to make sure you're following any of that conversation on these awards that are going to be continuing to come out as well. Make sure you get your thoughts in, and where you can also check out all the action, all the clips you missed, and all the standings implications that are going down. And those socials will be scrolling across the top left of your screen.
Mazel, before we dive into the day's action, got to dive into what happened yesterday on the stream here, as we had, I'd say, a series that continues to go about as expected. Conviction got a game, maybe a little bit better than expected for some fans at home, but man, what an impressive series from Tomio and the rest of Luminosity Gaming.
I know the LG guys were a little upsetty spaghetti that they did lose the one game. I gotta say, Conviction had a hell of a draft in game number 2, and they were able to execute it really well. Some good play calling there, and I appreciate that we got to see that little bubbling up of Conviction But that machine, man, there's no stopping it. The electricity has been unplugged, but it still keeps going. I don't think there's anything stopping this LG team.
Yeah, I've really killed the phrase buzzsaw when it comes to talking about them, but it really is what it feels like, because it hasn't just been wins from Luminosity Gaming. It has been absolute manhandlings on the Rift, as they have just decimated and destroyed every team that they've faced so far in the NACL playoffs. They've only dropped one map. They're averaging being up so much gold in their games, too. It just really has been very, very impressive to see what this squad has been able to accomplish. And frankly, I mean, it almost at this point feels like a one-horse race for the teams that we really have favored to topple DSG, as DSG have looked a lot better in their own right. Of course, a lot of time until we see them play again, but Luminosity Gaming have just been on a different level.
They really have. I think that's the most terrifying part, but it's also the biggest payoff for this team, man. From literally the beginning of the year, they had one goal in mind, is to make that promotion tournament, to make that promotion, and to achieve that, right? The job is not done. They still have a lot to go, but I know that's got to feel good, and it's such a payoff for a group of guys that has seen so much adversity trying to make it to that Tier 1 level. So here's the bracket as we see it. Luminosity Gaming are the first team locked in the grand finals, as well as locked into that promotion spot. But now we get to the fun part. All of these teams' years coming down to the line here with one series left. Here we are with Supernova and Blue Otter.
Yeah, and really is where we started as well, as this was the first match that really set off the chaos that was our bracket. As this bracket has just been filled with upsets, both in the upper and lower bracket. And we'll see if Blue Otter can continue that trend today. I only say so because of the seeding, not because of what Blue Otter has been able to accomplish so far in their playoff run, Mazel. This really has been a team that have been perennial middle-of-the-pack contenders, or pushing to be middle-of-the-pack here in NACL. Find themselves with their best finish in the org's history, with the same core 3 that they've had. A lot of the staff behind the scene, too. It just feels like they've found more success in this playoff bracket, and I think there are a lot of factors that go into this. I know a big one for me has been Quacker. A big one for you has been Samakin in the mid lane.
Yeah. A lot of changes, a lot of adaptations to what the meta has presented, and some of the niche picks that we still see from this team, which I think is just so powerful. It always has been in NACL. A lot of those crazy miracle runs have relied on some deep champion pools, some differentiation and draft. I think that's going to be super important tonight as well, as we're going to be taking a look at Supernova's roster, a team that was built for this, Cubby. They have to succeed in a lot of ways. This is a team that came together to try to make this run in Split 2.
Yeah, the experience of this team, majority of the players having played on that bigger stage, trying to fight their way to get back in their own right. Definitely one where, I mean, look, this team, they were good in the regular season. I think they played some really good early games. We've seen them have more stumbles here in playoffs, as those early games have not been quite as clean, but we'll see if they can dig deep today to move ahead in our bracket.
And a big spotlight on Hoarder, obviously getting the Rookie of the Year here already, but also just having major impact in Supernova's wins and the way they like to play the game.
His Jax has been fantastic all year. York has been pretty big this split too. I do think that Hoarder still needs to show a little bit of better side lane play. Still plays very volatile out there, sometimes makes a few oopsies that are bad for the game, but has also found a lot of wins there, which is finding solo queues. So we'll see if Hoarder can continue it today against Quacker and Blue Otter, as Blue Otter have also been having a really big playoff run. I know that we just mentioned the solo laners before in Quacker and Samakin. Of course, this roster being rounded out by Kryra, Array, and Rovex. Do want to give a lot of credit over to Array and Kryra, the two players that have stepped in halfway through the split, especially Kryra. I really don't think that they're in the position they're in now if they don't have Kryra on the team. This guy's just a really good player when it comes to what he's able to bring to the team in terms of brains and his hands on the Rift and play.
There's just something about this team, man. There is just some sort of magic cooking over there, as Quacker is going to have tall tasks dealing with Hoarder, finding his impact, but it's a task he knows all so well, and we have seen this man single-handedly run games.
Yeah, look, Quacker, it's been a blast, honestly, to watch him throughout this playoff run. I think the last interview we did with him when they found the upset victory over Dark Zero and moved forward, he kind of paused, took a deep breath, and said, hey, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to compete, but I'm competing now. It's still going well, and it has been going nothing but well for Quacker and Blue Water. I think Quacker is a player that has always played his picks very well. We'll see if it can continue today against the Rookie of the Year now in Horton.
Yeah, I think those champion pools are going to have to dig deep as we take a look at the last time these two teams met. One of the biggest upsets, I feel like, in NACL history. The first seed faltering to the 8th seed here. But it was also a situation where they just took full advantage of that momentum for Blue Water. And the only thing is that the next day we literally had, or at least the next the day we had another incredible upset. Yeah. But you know, it happens, and Blue Water still stands above.
And look, Blue Water 3-0'd this series. Really, I mean, they were up a lot of gold in this game 2 as well, and just kind of had a monumental chuck. But it was really a big win for Blue Water. I think that Supernova, like, they definitely had an off day on this day, but the fact that Blue Water have taken down both them and Dark Zero, you cannot doubt that this team is a competitor in the playoffs in Supernova. But clearly going to have to be on their A game today, given what happened last time was Blue Water victory off the back of a Game 3 pocket sack from Kryra. Always a fun one that he's able and willing to pull out from his days of solo queue being a sack specialist.
Yeah, it's far cry from that, but we might see it again. I think it's found so much impact, especially now in a best of 5, where that Fearless really comes into the fold here and trying to figure out exactly what works. I've really enjoyed some of the ways our teams have been picking apart the meta here with the Fearless system, and especially when we get to those later games. But as we take a look at the teams in playoffs, it's been a pretty similar story for the two.
Yeah, look, I think the goal difference at 15 doesn't speak to Supernova, and in a way, I think that they still have drafted for a lot of early game compositions. They just haven't been able to convert as many. In some of the games, we've seen them get ahead early. It's been Supernova regular season where they get ahead and that's clean, and then that's the games on and dusted pretty one-sided in their favor. Other games, we see them just get behind or not be able to convert in the mid-game the way that they were seeing them being able to consistently do and replicate that, quite frankly, themselves throughout the regular season. So, gonna have to see if that changes. But of course, with Blue Water being the latter team to drop the lower bracket, they have side select. They have selected blue side for themselves for this game 1. As we have seen some red side favors sneak in the NACL playoffs.
At least in the later parts of the series.
Yeah, later games. Not game 1.
Yeah, we do have our predictions here, and we are going to see a little bit of a differentiation.
We're split!
As we are split 3-3 here.
So I got to say, when I put my vote in the group chat, I was the only vote for Supernova. It was a 5-1.
Like an hour after I voted mine.
That's fine. You and Deserex swapped. Look, I think you're on the right side of history. That's all I'm going to say. But we're split.
This team was built for this, man. Like, this team was built to make this happen.
I think the fact it's split, though, it really speaks to what Blue Water has done so far in the playoffs, and honestly, some of the pedigree of Supernova. Because you look at the results of what Supernova and Blue Water have put up so far, I think that Blue Water has had the harder and stronger run in the bracket when looking at their bracket compared to Supernova. So I think the fact we're split, like on paper, this is a Supernova favored game if you look at the names and what we expected in the regular season. But what we've seen in the playoffs so far, I think it's a fair argument to say it's Blue Water favored. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see what wins out on the day. The team that has been better throughout playoffs or Supernova bringing it together and playing to the level that we know they can put on the rig.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you put a blindfold on one eye and only looked at one side, it would be literally completely opposite stories for both of them, right? And I think that's what's crazy about this whole situation. But on blue side, you got to get priority. You got to get something big, and we got to see what they're going to let through, as we did see some crucial bans. Yunara on blue side, actually, but obviously some other likely bans on both sides, as Blue Water will choose that Rumble first pick, at least for Quacker, on that blue side.
Wow, this is actually the very first game, by the way, that Zoe has been left up against Samakin. You see
and they're baiting it. They're baiting
by Supernova.
Blaze Olive is like, I got the pick to counter it, baby.
I don't think that they're going to be locking it in for themselves, but the fact that pick was up, That is a big one for Samikin. He is a Zoe specialist in solo queue and has a ridiculous competitive record on the champion as well.
I think this is the first time it's been left open all playoffs.
It is.
I think it
factually it is. Yes. Pretty crazy.
Well, the Orianna Corki giving them a ton of late game scaling as well, some team fight potential inside of Supernova. Maybe not going for that early game so far, but that's where comes the jungle matchup as well, and I'm sure where a lot of that skirmishing potential is going to come from.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a few choices now. I think that Kaisa definitely has some value for Array this game, going up against Corki. Going to be the Senna instead, so we have a little bit of a different identity already emerging for Blue Otter. Corki, pretty short-range champion, but when he's in range, I mean, the damage he puts out in a quick amount of time, it's extreme. That can't be matched by Senna Nautilus, but the control, the range that you get from them, I think the Blue Otter want to play for some longer team fights here, while Supernova posturing to be very bursty early in this draft.
Saving some big picks for that second phase as well. See what Supernova wants to round out their first phase with. I'm sure it's going to be the top lane matchup just so they don't get it whittled down even further away from that Rumble setup. But that's the thing about game number ones in Fearless. You have a ton of options available, and Mbessa will be a good one for Hoarder.
Yeah, this is a matchup going up against that Rumble where you need to scale into it, but we have seen that Mbessa be a big champ for Hoarder. Definitely, I think a champion that struggles in some of Quacker's champion pool later on in the series too, thinking of Quacker being, you know, very willing to play the Olaf or showing that he can still play that Renekton. We haven't seen that from him all split, but we know it's a great pick, and he played it really well in that Game 3 against Darkzero last week. So I think that finding that here in this game for Hoarder, actually a pretty good call from Supernova, just given that I think later on that champion struggles into some of the options that Quacker has, and also Quacker can play it himself. So I do like the pickup here from Supernova.
Well, Zoe made it for the first phase, but not in the second phase. Immediately banned away by Supernova there, as we do see the Jarvan ban towards the jungle matchup, which I think is actually important to think about here, as they're going to be the kind of go-getters for a lot of these this compositional strength here, as the Xin Zhao is also banned away from Supernova's side.
I like the Jarvan ban. I think that, you know, playoffs have come back, Mazel, and you know what that means? It means we're going to see more Jarvan, more Maokai, more Sejuani,
but
right?
The Hot Pot banned the Hot Pot from itself.
Yeah, but, you know, Rumble and Senna both immobile, and Nautilus hates going up against the Cataclysm. There's a little bit of anti-synergy in that game, so I think it's a just ban. But yeah, no Heidi Law special for Blue Otter tonight. They're going to save that hopefully for the victory meal.
True.
They're all respective locations.
Yeah, where everyone's going to individually go to Heidi Lao by themselves. But it is the Trundle ban, so a lot of that jungle pressure, at least in this second phase. Now, the Rel is picked up, which I think kind of ties the composition so much together for Supernova. And, by the way, Dardoch's getting counterpicked, so that's kind of spicy.
It feeds into the Wombo. I think a big takeaway from Rovex, too. Both him and Breezy play good Rels, but I think that this has been one of Rovex's better champions. The Rel and the Rakan are the two I think of when it comes to him. But Wombo going to be found on Blue Otter's side on its own. Kryra actually going to opt to rock the Skarner in this game, so pretty low-range composition if you're able to line up and impale and an equalizer. That's pretty good. Plenty of setup coming in for the Rumble, too, when you throw the Nautilus on top of that with the depth charge. And, oh, my. That's a Taliyah that has made it very far in draft. It's not a good matchup against the Orianna. When you have the setup of a Skarner, have the setup of a Nautilus, looks like it's just going to be the pick for Samikin, as he's going to play that and try and impact the map and utilize the power and the setup that Taliyah has in these team fights.
There can be some kind of forward stepping with this mid-jungle duo for Blue Otter, but when I look at this comp, I'm saying, you know, you're going 25, 30 minutes. You're looking for those full item completions and really getting Senna to a place where she can carry. I feel like that's not as necessarily a great thing going into Supernova, who love to try to take those early 50-50s and take those advantages, and it will be the Sejuani with a lot of that kind of strength at level 6 to tee off those fights.
Yeah, again, Sejuani brings some of that guaranteed playmaking and link up with the Mbessa too. So I'd say two pretty supportive junglers playing in a game that looks to be rather lane-centric. Do think that Senna Nautilus, they're going to scale into the game. This lane, very solid in terms of just being able to play off of one another. But we'll see if they can escape that very early game where the Rel Corki do have some threat. And then for me, I think mid's going to matter a lot this game. Just because in isolation, Taliyah versus Orianna, it's a pretty tough matchup for the Taliyah. But if given some help, the ability to find the setups, you can turn that on the Orianna. And then if you do have priority, you can use that so well as the Talia. So I think flipping this mid lane matchup could be very important for Blue Water in this game. Because I'm looking at the two solo laners for Supernova. And they do outscale their opposition. And that was definitely something I was looking out for when it comes to SN, because this has been such a early game centric team. I mean, they're one of the few teams that still really have that high priority on Rise. It feels like they have opted for some of the scaling solo lanes here. And they do have some pretty solid matchups for it. So I actually like how this draft sets up for Supernova. They have to consistently be able to close the gap against Blue Water.
And actually, a little bit of a side tangent here. I do think the way that the supports have been able to get their draft here, at least the Nautilus and the Rel, I mean, both these guys love to get out on the map. A little bit more Breezy connecting with Dardoch in a lot of ways, but I want to see how quickly that kind of combination comes together. And if you want to see how those combinations come together or get better at the game itself, you can go to prodiff.gg, get one-on-one coaching from former and current pros in the LTA, in the NACL, and the ERLs. You just go scan that QR code, and you can take a look at all the coaches that are available at prodiff.gg.
I got a lot of them. Shout out to them for supporting us. Of course, pros only on that website. So if you want advice from the best, the people that get paid to do it themselves, head on over to prodiff.gg on the QR code. So thanks for all their support. And Mazel, excited to dive into this one and see if Supernova can kind of change the tape, change the narrative from this first matchup they had against Blue Water in the playoffs.
Change your fate. Throwback reference there. Anyways, yeah, I'm very curious because it's the next step in this story that we've been so closely following, and we get the next episode here. If you want to get your input on what that next episode is going to pan out to be, though, make sure you get your votes in chat. Who you think is going to take the win? Is it going to be Blue for Blue Water, or is it SN for Supernova? Because I think it could go either way. I mean, the last time we saw these two face off, it was just that best of 3. Now we get a full potential 5 games, and leaving everything out on the Rift. I know I was talking so much about how Supernova were built for this. The team came together to make this happen. But for Blue Otter's side, I mean, this is the furthest they've ever made it as an org. And I know that means a lot to the players, right? This is a team that thrives off emotion, but there's also the thoughts of, Quacker potentially coming to an end here in Tier 2. There's a lot of emotion behind this team in a positive way.
Yeah, I think for Blue Water, they had to switch things up a little bit, but they still have the same core, and I think the pieces that they've incorporated in Kryra and Array, I mean, these are good players. I think Kryra, for me, is one of, if not my top jungle prospect on Blue Water. That's a big deal. And Array was someone for me that in the past, I talked about it a lot when he was landing with Prismal and Golden Guardians Academy. I thought that he was a next up AD, and he still is a really solid team fighter that has been pretty consistently, performing in these games. So I think that the adjustments that Blue Water made behind the scenes were good. We're starting to see that with their play on the Rift at the right time for playoffs too. And this is a really tough team to prep for as well, Mazel. I mean, when you have the champion pools of Quacker and Samakin, and then you can combine that with the flexibility that Kryra has in the jungle too, that makes for a team that gets to play a lot of different compositions and will throw a lot of different combos at you that you aren't used to facing. I mean, think of the Mel, think of the Morgana that Samakin's played, and that's just him. So I know from speaking with other teams behind the scenes, it said that Blue Water is really tough to prep for too. So see if Supernova learns some lessons from the first matchup.
It's been a while, but we're back to where we started. It is a rematch we've all been looking forward to. Blue Water took down the top seed in round number 1 of the NACL Split 2 playoffs, the most important playoffs of all of NACL history. And here, Blue are trying to do it again. Can Supernova change their fate? Can they get back into this lower bracket run that they've been trying here as we get into game number 1 of this best of 5? Blue Water versus Supernova.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
All right, we got the Serenity of the old Rift for the playoff run and the rest of the year, Mazel. And we're going to have to see if these two orgs can turn back the clock, I remember a certain era of NACL where Blue Water were the new kids on the block, and they tried to manufacture some social media beef with Supernova, in
all the fun.
A couple summers ago. I think that we tried too hard, so there actually wasn't a lot of fun that was had. But there was an attempt.
There was an attempt, for sure.
And that's
sometimes
Blue
you
Water.
don't always succeed in those attempts, but
they were kind of trying to little brother Supernova there.
Yeah, they were.
And now, I mean, little bro. If you look at history, little bros are usually more athletic because they have to compete against big bro all the time. We did see the athletic little bro take them down the first time around. We got to see if they can find him 2 for 2, or if Big Bro can kind of hold that over them in the end.
Yeah, because, I mean, the biggest thing through all this is you have to remember, I mean, one of these teams' year comes to an end here. I know we've seen fluctuations in both rosters throughout the year itself, but this is everything for all 10 players here and the coaching staff behind the team. So a lot of respect to be given between both teams. You have made the run here. We'll see who comes out the better of it as we take a look at the bot lane 2v2, which was kicking off a little bit spicy, but seems like priority should go in Supernova's favor.
Yeah, Array himself, a Supernova alum, going up against a team where he sees some
They didn't get level 2
success
yet.
with his time in SM. But yeah, I think early game looks like we have a mirrored path for our junglers. So Skarner going to be working his way towards the bot side, whereas Sidge want to go at the top. And we'll see if that ends up being the path we stick to for maybe when the Dragon and the Grubs come onto the map. Because I do think that with a Nautilus and a Skarner on this bot side, I mean, Jerry and Breezy, they're going to have to at least respect when Skarner is in the vicinity, because the reach that Nautilus and Skarner have for some gank setup, very real.
And I think that first gank setup is the key piece to the early game puzzle here, because there is a world, and I'm sorry to say it, chat, please forgive me, where we just scale and we have a great time. We get to talk about anything we want to talk about, and we go to those 25-minute marks and things get really stressful in the 5-on-5. But there's always room in Tier 2 for things to maybe go a little bit awry. So I'm waiting to see where that kind of breaks open and who's really ready for this game number 1, because it's going to be a long series.
Yeah, again, I think that mid is where I would look for things to break open early on. Again, that Orianna into Taliyah matchup, so good for the Ori. If played in isolation or given any help. I think Taliyah really needs help in order just to pressure Orianna, like taking Flash away from her, and really warp that matchup, make it a lot different.
We are going to get the split of the Scuttle Crabs. Ships in the night for now, but both junglers been extremely impactful for either side, as actually the back came through from Dardoch, so he'll be deploying with 2 Ruby Crystals. While we will get the late delayed back by Kryra. And now is the time where we're going to be pushing to that level 6. And I think that's where we can bring in the conversations about the mid lane. I mean, obviously, when we've seen Taliyah as much as we have here recently, when we get to, when she's not banned away, it's all about that mobility out of mid lane. I don't know if that's necessarily the same case for the Orianna here.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, Orianna, she can be lane dominant, especially in this matchup, just wants to get her items and scale up a bit, play a little bit more centric to the lane, but also good ability to combo off of her teammates. I just mostly find early game, you know, they kind of come to her. And in terms of Orianna, whereas Taliyah with that Weaver's Ball can go to the plays, so definitely a little bit of a difference in style and strength between these two champions, but definitely a big one for Blaze Olive as well. I know that we've seen Taliyah denied from Blue Water and Sanakin, and I will say that that is one of the changes of approach that we're seeing early on in this series so far, between and even Zoe being left up first rotation of this Taliyah for Sanakin that has been denied for the majority of the playoffs. I think it's a good strategy early on to give away some of those champions that you are going to be banning for Fearless, like, out. Like, if you're worried about Taliyah for a 5-game series, there is some validity to just letting it go through game 1 to save yourself bans later on, as this champion has been perennially banned against Sanakin and Blue Water.
As we see, the lane swaps did come through, so we are just completely getting rid of any prio over Dragon, and we are just going to get ready for the Grubs fight, as we do get the 2v2 actually leaning a little bit in favor of Blue Water. Okay, with that Frost Bomb changes that a little bit, but I do expect a little bit of contest over these Grubs, and I guess in that state, I mean, we are going to have level 6s at least close for the junglers, but we will have that for mid lane. Who do you favor in those kind of objective-based early game skirmishes?
I would the Rumble comp, as long as Rumble's in the vicinity, as the power of Rumble early versus Ambessa, it'll be very Rumble-sided with that equalizer plus the setup. So I think it's really important that they're able to get Quacker into some of these early fights, as him being there, even if Ambessa's there too, it should be a big power advantage to Blue Water, having access to that equalizer.
That red carpet's going to be looking real good. As yeah, I mean, hey, we were right. Everybody has decided to show up for this top lane party. A little bit of early pressure from Supernova to get the Scuttle Crab ahead of the Grubs. Get some of that vision toggling going, and he will disappear into the night here, into the jungle with no vision for Blue Otter, but Blue Otter made the play. They're looking for a Blaze Olive ahead of the play. They get first blood.
Great play from Kryra. Again, Supernova fishing around this top side. Mid was left open. They're able to find the Orianna. A Blaze Olive doesn't use his flash, but does go down. So rinse and repeat isn't there. But they do pick up the kill off of a big play and a good look from Kryra.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big pick ahead of that, because now, I mean, you lose a lot of that pressure. We take a look back how they got it. And this is the combo you drafted for, Blue Otter.
And I think that ABO just has to flash out of that. If he flashes out of that, there's no level 6 on the Skarner, and there's not a lot of mana on Samikin. So his ability to Weaver's Wall to follow through, I don't think that's very, I don't think that's, you know, doable. So if I'm a Blaze Olive, I think flashing there, you save the death and are able to get out. Instead, he goes down, does preserve the flash. So we'll see if we can use it well at one of these objective fights coming up here in the cell.
It's always the conversation. It's one thing to get burned, as we're going to see a little bit of burning on the bot side, but Quacker getting his flame spitter turned back onto him, as Hoarder's doing the spitting right now. But that's the thing, is even if a flash or things along those lines are not burned, you have to see if there's any recoup of it in the future, as we do get the set of redeployed to mid lane, as we're getting the early lane swaps coming through, and mid laners in top now.
Quacker actually gave that big wave up. That's pretty... He's got Equalizer up now, didn't have it up when he based. So that's a pretty expensive drop on the bot side. He's going to miss a lot of creeps for that. It's a good find by Hoarder to force the Rumble out. Will be a little bit of differing timers, though, from each of our teams. Hoarder going to have to take the reset, doesn't have access to the TP of his own yet.
Yeah.
And this means that Quacker, if he's able to get the cancel in here, which he does... Okay, this should be Rumble now able to play this bot wave, and then after this wave, we'll see if Quacker is able to make his way up, and that could work for a fight.
It's going to be a long walk, though, as Grubs are already started up by Supernova. The thing I love to point out here is we do have some level differences. I mean, now it's starting to come to a head, but level 6 completed for Rovex. Breezy, not level 6 yet, but they go for the engage anyways. Big damage coming through already. Kryra's going to have to impale, going to try to get his way out of here. Goes for the installed impact. Samikin has joined. They get the lockdown combo, but it's all on to Dardoch. Dardoch's so tanky. Dardoch's still alive. They're going a little bit too ham now, but they're finally showing up. Equalizer goes a bit wide. It does split Supernova off, but it's just going to be the exit strategy from Supernova as they take the big pick. They take one grub, but that's it.
Yeah, I think that if Corki did not have access to W there, the Equalizer might have been big, but Quacker, that fight was a little bit too quick for him to actually get there. So Blue Otter loses out on a lot. I mean, Quacker loses out on another wave on the bot side, Mazel. So this Rumble now is pretty far behind. That first big Equalizer doesn't connect, and Blue Otter doesn't get the 2 grubs after that. So I think
go back
overall,
now, right?
Yeah, well, they go back now, but they're still kind of behind on the play. So I think overall, Supernova pretty happy with the fact that, like, yes, the grubs drop, but that Ambessa is so far ahead. We talk about the soul laning for Supernova. This Talia into Orianna, this Rumble into an Ambessa, these individual matchups get very difficult later on into this game. So the fact that Ambessa's ahead early and Orianna's at a decent, you know, level right now compared to the Talia, I do think that SN's happy with the game state.
And it's not even like a small lead. I mean, hovering around 20 CS is a pretty substantial lead. And then you also have the jungle matchup that's starting to favor Dardoch here. He's going to be looking early and often with this Glacial Prison as soon as it's up again, as we're going to take a look at Supernova trying to push down on these plates on bot side. Oh, just insta-ult. Rovex is there, though, and immediately Supernova a little bit antsy to go in. They got Dardoch coming over, TP coming in for Blue Otter. Blue Otter should be able to turn this one.
Okay.
Breezy just kind of gave his life for that one.
Yeah.
Not expecting the response rate from Blue Otter, and a beautiful map state setup from Blue.
I mean, look, I gotta say, though, that TP from Samikin, it might have turned the play, but this is expensive for Blue Otter again. They burned both TPs in that sequence. Dragon's still up. That's going to take away some of their power to actually be able to play that.
Oh.
And Samikin might still be the look or the threat.
Oh, we're getting a 2v2. They're going to try to get Samikin down. Rovex is here, but you got to see how much damage they can do. Hoarder try to find the angle, but unfortunately he goes through as now Rovex getting low, but Kryra waiting on the other side. As you do have Samikin stepping back up. Supernova tried again to make a play on bot side, but this will give them room for the Dragon.
It's a pretty high value cleanse there from Rovex. That's got him out of that death. Supernova's going to get the Drake, though, and yeah, I mean, again, I think that last sequence, I know that Breezy died for free under that bot tower, but I think that was a good play from Supernova. Because it got the TPs out, and now, again, like, you have no TPs as Blue Water. What did you get for that? You only got a support kill. You dropped the Dragon, and with no TPs, I mean, your playmaking abilities down, you lose these side lane matchups, especially as this game goes on. So I feel like a lot was invested there by Blue Water for just not enough return for what they need in this game.
And you're also, just a little thing, I mean, starting to see some of the value of that unraveled earth coming through from Samikin in some of these team fights. And I really look back to the draft and see how much these teams opted into the kind of team fight aspect that both of them are going for. And the fact that it's looking like we're definitely going to get to that point. So I guess mano a mano, it's going to be really intense in those later fights. But we are getting to those first item spikes coming through. The Heartsteel v Heartsteel. As cry your heart out, I guess, for Kryra versus Dardoch.
Ah, well done there.
Gotta keep on your toes, you know.
No, I feel like Heartsteel, the musical group, would play at a Darty.
True. I
could
could see it. I could absolutely see it.
That'd be my response.
That'd be a banger,
did get
too.
an update from production about 30 seconds ago. Senna was at 42 souls, which is definitely ahead of the curve.
That's really good.
For where Senna should be right now. Again, Corky Rella, pretty short range composition. Scary Jerry might be in trouble.
Scary Jerry gonna have to flash. Still get stunned. No. Still get CC'd. You can't flash away from that. And just 100-0'd for the feat of warfare by Blue Otter.
Oh man, the flash, the root still went through, loses flash, loses barrier, loses his life there as Jerry goes down. 2 kills onto the Senna, and the feats of warfare secured, as you called out there, Mazel. So good pickup here by Blue Water, as we're kind of waiting for the Herald and the Dragon to pop onto the map now. Still see a pretty stable game. It still is a solo laner scaling up for Supernova, but a nice win for Blue Water, and that big scaling aspect for them is that Senna that can outrange later on. So Array being set up for success now, that really is the biggest point of strength for Blue Water at the moment.
And you talked so much about his addition to the roster, what he's been able to bring. A lot of that experience, at least, you know, in a way, and trying to bring that into this one on the Senna. And it was bold. I was questioning the Senna a little bit in draft. It's like, you're really going to give Array, somebody who we've seen just micromanage team fights on another level for Blue Water on this Senna, but it's going to be a carry nonetheless as we see him aggressed in mid lane. It is going to be Scary Jerry trying to get a little bit of revenge for that play that just happened.
Good steps there by Array to get out of that rocket. Should be able to sustain his way back up with Qs. And Blue Water again waiting for the Dragon and the Rift Herald to spawn. Rift up in 30, of course. Dragon going to be up, I think, a little bit over a minute. We don't have the timer on our screen, but I think it's going to be about...
Should be close.
A 16-minute Drake spawning here for our squad. So Rift going to be the focus. See Kryra and Dardoch both making their ways to the top side. And any fight right now, I still think it's a point of the game where Equalizer's quite big. They would love to get a Leandres onto this Rumble before they take a team fight, though. Quacker will have access to TP here shortly. So wondering if he's going to use that to try and get an item, whereas Hoarder on the bot side going to have to use that to get involved with the fight. Samikin down here to match. See if Hoarder can make anything happen. Definitely has the option to get aggressive with a public execution, but likely wants to save that for the team fight.
Yeah, the TP is going to be extremely impactful here. We got to check out the ward
Jerry's
spacing right now. Yeah, he's going to have to back. Is he spotted out there? No. A very scary back. We'll end up getting that delayed. Deflection pale! Kryra says, I want you, and I got you! Array goes on a killing spree.
Oh, so that death mid originally for Scary Jerry, I mean, it kind of turns into a second one there, and likely a Rift Herald now being secured by Blue Water. As, again, a lot invested there with both Rovex and Kryra flashing, but I think it was well worth it. Because now Rovex is the look. Samikin does flash to escape the Glacial Prison in this fight.
Oh, they are TPing in. We were blocking off the rest of his team. Samikin gonna go for the play here as Quacker laid down the red carpet. Dardoch has no escape, and he will be welcomed by the paparazzi back home as Blue Otter go for the Rift Herald play.
I mean, no Jerry, no win for that fight. I just don't think the Supernovas has a way to win that. I think the idea was maybe if we can get enough ultimates out, maybe we can go for a fight here, but that's not going to be the case. Rel has the Magnetic Storm, Hoarder has the public Execution, but Supernova has no control over the Rift Herald, given the ults that were used by Blue Water. And a good find on the Jerry again, who got picked off mid once, and losing those summoner spells expensive as it gets punished again.
It does indeed. I think the saving grace for Supernova is that the lead is not moved very much. It might be 5-1, but because of the CS differential, because of some of the laning differentials we've had, Supernova are right in the mix of things, and their composition just gets better and better with time, as they're going to try to take some of that time with this Dragon.
I do like this from SN. I think they're going to get this just based on the tempo. One of the trends we saw in the Blue Water versus Dark Zero series was Blue Water consistently dropping this Dragon to play the Rift Herald. 4 out of 5 games, Blue Water very heavily prioritized the Rift in that series. So, again, I think the comp and just where they were at in the map, pick up the Rift Herald, do drop the Dragon. And I know that you mentioned the scaling, Mazel. Do want to say production said that Senna already over 63 souls. That's about the average at 20 minutes that LTA North was running. They have a graphic where you can see the average Senna souls, like in the average pro game. I know the breakpoint is it's either 62 or 63 at the 20-minute mark. So the fact that Array is likely, I mean, close to 70 now, 2 minutes before 20, it definitely speaks to how ahead of the curve that he is in terms of those souls. Because once you get past the 80 to 100 breakpoint, that's when Senna with the RFC starts to hit you all like a screen away, and that gets really tough.
And it's just been the way they've moved. Oh, Porter going to miss the public execution there on a Samikin. Now Samikin decides he wants to go through. He cuts them off. But Blue Water, they don't have it all bodies up here. And you're about to have 5 stack of Supernova. I think Blue Water bit off a little bit more than they could chew. And that Impale will impale himself as Kryra falls.
Kryra was definitely going down once he casted that ultimate. No flash for him. Jungler Gibbon, we'll see what Supernova can get on the flip side, though. Array stayed mid, gets a wave in. No TP available for Supernova to answer bot. So, yeah, it's a death. It's not great, but frankly, I think Blue Water okay with that. Not like they lost an objective, and they kind of slingshot Rumble back into the game and give Array some free time mid. He overstayed, though.
A little free time. He might have to flash. He might get out here, as he does get stopped in lock, as Dardoch can't find the damage. Scary Jerry getting body blocked expertly by Rovex.
Stand in the front of Array, making sure that Senna was safe after Array did have to burn the flash. So that is a good takeaway by Supernova. Definitely something they can punish with a public execution, glacial prison, or of course a shockwave. So see if they can find that Senna. Did see Blue Water do a good job of punishing Scary Jerry's flash being down. Same opportunity for Supernova with Array missing his.
And I think that's going to be an unlocking factor moving forward if they can find that backline access. But the thing about Blue Water, when they are all together, the couple times we've seen them misplay, it has been because not everybody's around, not everybody's in position. I think a little bit of the same for Supernova as well, but it's about the execution and how they kind of play this front to back, at least, with the setup around Array and with Senna getting so strong. I mean, we're on second item already. We're getting those completed for a couple members of Blue Water as well. So that's going to feel really good, but the answer is going to be there from Supernova.
SN still, I mean, taking inventory, second item completed for Ablaze Olive. He's ahead of the curve, Border's ahead of the curve. That is good news for Supernova. As the game on our screens, it is even. I still give Blue Water, I think their ability to play off of the Talia, as you highlighted earlier, with that Unraveled Earth value always being big, Mazel. I mean, we're definitely looking, when those E's come down, you know, are the flicks going to come out? Is the setup going to be there for Blue Water to at least open Samikin up for good flicks, or vice versa? You know, that Unraveled Earth making it tough for Supernova to team fight. That's going to be big, because the Shockwave is definitely going to pack a punch behind them now on the flip side. With the Blaze Olive having 2 items and, you know, being scaled up.
I gotta say though, Dragon coming up a minute and a half. I know it's not the end-all be-all, but I feel like it's super important for Supernova. It's an Infernal Soul on top of everything. And I think getting that decision-making power is super crucial for them as we move forward into this game. As Rift Herald play in the mid lane, gonna get the outer turret. Probably not gonna be followed up on for much more, but a little bit of that standing gold going to Blue Water to even things up, dead even 21 minutes in.
You can still see, so even on the gold graph, right? But you know, we have strengths in certain members on each team. Like Array's ahead, ABO's ahead. Those are the 2 people I'm really looking at. And we have seen this Orianna start to get a little bit more pressure into the Talia against Samikin having to respond to these waves. It's being that they aren't fully controlling Otacon to the top side. You have a reset trying to come out. As Blaze Olive going to cancel that one. Does have access to TP on his own. As Dragon's up in 30. And yeah, as you said, Mizel, that Soul Point, it really does force the hand of Blue Water for the rest of the game to respond to these Dragons if it does indeed go over to Supernova. They're going to look to cash in the strength of this Orianna at the moment, as a Glacial Prison isn't going to entrap anyone.
Yeah, he even threw up his own question mark emotes. He just wanted to
I don't
dance
even
a little
think
bit.
Samikin felt a chill from that.
Yeah. That hit my fridge, bro, and the fridge is like 3 rooms
that
away.
That joke is overused.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's
we're
not.
not
It's
even.
not.
We don't even feel a chill. See, that's more creative. It's glacial.
As we're actually not even caring about the Dragon setup because we're fighting around this top side and around this mid lane as Kryra going to try to get away from Hoarder. He is going to make it out alive. Another root comes down. Hoarder tried to get a pick there. Blue Water going to be a little bit worse for wear for their jungler ahead of this Dragon fight.
Kryra's going to try and heal off camps. He's got red buff available to take along with the Raptors. We'll see how much health he can get back, but that is a lot off the jungler before. Only Impale used. Whereas, I will say, ult economy in the favor of Blue Water here. But Rovex...
Shockwave in! Rovex is just gone! He misses the dredge line. The wall has betrayed him, but now Supernova, they might be betrayed in this fight. Look at this AoE damage coming down. Quacker is just running at people. That's his signature, and it gets scary when he feels confident. Now he's going to back off out that one. Dragon is still in the eyes of Blue Water. Dardoch coming over the wall, trying to get the Scuttle Crab, and it will go his way. Scary Jerry got chunked there, and that is terrifying. That is your damage dealer here with ABO.
This is close.
It's going to be a 50-50.
Rovex has TP. Rovex has TP, and he also has an ultimate. Quacker going to try and get his health bar back, too. If they both get back to the fight, it's advantage Blue Water.
Oh, absolutely.
Glacial
TP is
Prison
coming
up,
back
though.
in fold as they're going to get the double. 50-50 coming through here. Dardoch versus Kryra. The new young gun versus one of the established goats. It's going to go Dardoch's way. The old man's got hands, but now Blue Water are showing all of Supernova the hands that they're packing, and they might just have some brass knuckles, and that's a total KO.
Yeah, Supernova, they didn't have the ult economy. They had the Glacial Prison. Hoarder doesn't even get off the public execution as Blue Water entrapped them with the Weaver's Wall, and Samikin ends up having a huge fight there as he hit a big flick, and that was a good setup for Blue Water. They might get the Otacon off bit, but a big steal from Supernovas. They get Soul Point. Yeah, I think that once Quacker and Rovex get back with a full health bar, this fight is very difficult for Supernova to win. Their conditions are not good. Jerry does not have a lot of health. The Blaze Olive does not have an ultimate. As a big smite steal connects for Dardoch, and that really is the only saving grace for Supernova.
It was the double smite.
In this play, yeah.
It was the double smite. Breezy smited at the exact same time, so they just had the difference. We're going back into live at Blue Water. They're making a play out of Supernova here, the top side. As I do believe Atacon has been taken down, but the fight continuing here. Supernova make it out without losing a body.
I think they were trying to stall the resets for Baron. They could look Baron after this, as Otacon was the expense of the Dragon dropping there.
Oh, but you overextended, Dardoch. He thought they had a play. There were still 4 members of Blue Water around that corner, and he pays the price.
Again, the idea is that you stall the Baron. So, like, if you stall the resets, you might open up a window for you to actually hit the Baron. That definitely opened up a window to take the mid-outer, but you're right, Mizel. Member dropped, and that's a lot of gold in the pockets of Blue Water, and they might be down those 3 dragons, but they have the Otacon. So that is a lot of gold or experience and just ability power being added to your kit, right? Look at the levels on the left side of your screen compared to the right side of your screen. Blue Water is overall ahead now. And think about before that dragon fight, Samikin was the one that was down a level to a Blaze Olive. So that Otacon, you can see it working overtime. And we're starting to see in this fight too, Array hasn't really gone down. Like, Array has had a really nice game here, Mizel. They have had a few instances where they've gotten close to taking down this Senna. But Array has yet to die. He's sitting at 90 souls. And he's becoming a real problem as the one member that scales very hard on Blue Water over there.
And a couple of key decisions coming up, though. 2.5 minutes for a Dragon Soul and an Infernal Soul for Supernova. It's been the dueling fates of these two teams. If we had permanent buffs going the way of Blue Water and that Atacon, you have the couple grubs as well to really help them propel that siege going forward. But there's some big drop-offs coming forward here as we do have 3 items completed as well for Array.
They have good control. You can really see them trying to play on this line. Like a draw on my screen. I mean, you could draw the line. Kind of a fun sequence there from both teams, even if no action happened. Actually, some good discipline being shown by Blue Water, who did commit for that top outer turret and managed to get themselves out okay. They get all their camps in the back half, too. Well played, well managed by Blue Water.
And can I just say, I know it's only game one. Maybe I'm a game one Andy for this one, but this is the payoff that I really wanted coming all the way down the line for these two teams. Two teams that met at literally the very beginning of the playoffs starting off, and here they are putting everything on the line here with one series left.
You have Ambessa at 2 items. Ablazal, we'll see if he can get to 3. He did just take a reset. No Crypt Bloom in his inventory yet, as it is a Void Staff and a Black Cleaver secured third for the Talia and the Senna. So Blue Water still ahead, not just in gold on our screens, but also the inventories at the bottom, which is the more important part, as we are approaching what could be a pretty decisive fight. I mean, Infernal Soul going over to Supernova. A lot of damage in their carries. Permanent buff that would be tough for Blue Water to overcome and outscale. I don't think it's, undoable, but and any gold deficit or scaling questions that we have for Supernova in a comp where kind of already favor Supernova if it goes late outside the Senna. Infernal Soul definitely going to help, SN and hamper Blue Water there.
Yeah. So let's set the stage, Cubby, as we're getting resets, getting ready for that tussle. We do have TPs available coming from both sides, so they should be able to push out these side lanes and still be impactful in the fight. Big thing here, Array, no flash. Every flash available besides Hoarders and Breezies on the side of Supernova, and it's going to be a tussle for sure.
It's also, though, right now, I mean, it is Blue Water who have the control diff over that bot side. They've really given up a lot of waves to make sure that they can just take this dragon cleanly and safely. Which, I mean, again, to be fair, kind of necessary, just given the overall game state. And you don't want to give away that soul from spawning, so...
They're going Supernova going to force the hand.
Going to insta-spawn. Supernova going to try and drag them away from this by hitting the Baron themselves.
Quacker's doing it right now, though. The dragon being taken down. Rovex maybe overextending. Okay, Supernova, they weren't ready to go in for that fight. Now Breezy got a flash away from the dredge line play from Rovex.
This is great for Blue
wall
Water.
Used.
They called SN's bluff. They kept Quacker there. Quacker barely loses any HP for this, and it's just going to be dragon melted and nothing else besides the top turret lost. And overall, I mean, top inner turret's not going to decide the game. Infernal Soul could. So I think that Blue Water happy to give away a wee bit of gold to make sure that permanent buff does not go over to Supernova. Good sequence from them. And again, more good discipline from Blue Water, Mazel.
Yeah, that's the most impressive thing here. Is it's just been a reserved and calculated game number 1 from Blue Water. They've consistently been able to play the map and counter what Supernova keep trying to do. Because Supernova would love to get down and dirty with them right there. They were trying to pull the trigger, but unfortunately Supernova doesn't take the bait. And this is the kind of, or at least Blue Water doesn't take the bait. And this is the kind of Blue Water that we saw take down this Supernova team. A team that was calculated in the way that they approached that first best of 3.
Honestly, if someone here, Supernova definitely, I mean, by no means out of this game. This could be decided by any fight.
And they bought themselves 5 more minutes.
Both teams have so many of their conditions up. I mean, it really only is Breezy that is missing that flash. As we will see if that ends up being the difference maker, because flash down means that you are asking to get Talia comboed. As Dardoch actually reaching for this blue buff a little bit. This will be found by Cryo. We'll see if this leads to anything.
A little bit scary. He just decides he's going to back away, and that's multiple Supernova plays that they've attempted so far that haven't really panned out to anything, but they are okay not giving much more over either.
He was playing with his laner there. I mean, Hoarder had the wave. They didn't lose anything outside of just not taking the buff. I think that was a decent look. Definitely paid some respect to Supernova, showing some of their own discipline too. And I mean, to be fair to Supernova, this is a tough map sometimes when you are playing against the Talia. The ability for Weaver's Wall to reach you and disrupt these side lane plays. Hoarder and ABO have been able to get these waves in very far.
Yeah.
I mean, Samakin's responding to a wave on the inhibitor turret. Quacker is responding to a wave on his inner turret right now, and neither Hoarder nor ABO have been pressured in the last couple of minutes. So Supernova is still able to get a lot of gold. And this 1k gold deficit, I mean, it has stayed stable. Is this game could be decided really between either team on the next fight here, or it's we got a close one to start things off.
We do. I think that's super important to kind of key out is they both drafted for this. Both teams said, we know we're going to go late. We're going to go for this. We're going to outhands them in those team fights later on. And that's what's going to happen here. Array, 100+ stacks already, working on his 4th item. Scary Jerry not far behind him there, though, on his 4th item as his own for Corki. And I know Scary Jerry is going to have a lot to say in these later team fights, as long as he doesn't get caught out.
Collector on the Corki, so this rocket's going to hit a little bit harder. And the dopamine kills, you know, opportunity to find that last rock. We'll see if it's enough maybe to take down Array in the back half, who, again, is deathless and has done a very nice job of staying safe and scaling up on this Senna.
I really like the Serpent's Fang from Hoarder. I think it gets a lot of value here.
Oh, for sure. Against Rumble, Skarner, Nautilus, sign me up.
Feels good.
Sign me up. I think that's a good call. And definitely, again, warp some of the power for Blue Water. Being able to axe those shields. It's pretty big against Skarner, Nautilus, and Rumble, as they're, I mean, that's like 3, 4, 5 shields from each being cut in half. If Anbessa's Anya throughout a sequence, could see if ends up happening there. The fights are probably going to go a little bit quicker than that, but we'll see. Again, very close game. I think that, you know, what either team should be looking for or waiting for is snagging one flash, getting one condition in your favor to try and create plays or opportunities from there. I think when you are playing a Nautilus Talia comp, so much of that draft is about how can you cash in opportunities when people are down flash. Can you find them? Can you get the setups? And what can you do from there? Because the power is so great and guaranteed when people are missing flash.
About 40 seconds for this dragon. Will be sold for Supernova. Again, Blue Water had bought themselves 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes are over, and it's all about posturing for this next objective.
I think a Baron threat from Supernova this time around. They do it much quicker with the extra items that Orianna and Corki were able to pick up in the stead of that, between the last standoffs in that time.
It's an item differential between the ADs right now, though.
Yeah, that IE being in on the Senna, who is over 100 stacks, is quite big, and we have seen Array. I think finding Array in these fights imperative if you want to be successful with Supernova. Rovax and Kryra trying to hold the door in front of the Senna too, ensuring that Array can be safe and can continue to fire in the back line of these fights.
As it does seem like Quacker has been assigned back to the Dragon, and Supernova, they're going to move on the other side of the play. They're going to give another one. We going late, Cubby. I don't think there's anything breaking this game open, as Dardoch and Co. are going to start up this Baron, but there's going to be a nice response from Blue Water.
Yeah, Jerry has to go all the way around to hit the Baron now, so they can't stick it. It is going to be Breezy trying to find an angle. That control ward being changed is big, as Breezy is very close to getting in
They're
here.
just going to pull the trigger. Breezy isn't even in the fight. They go in. Hoarder tries to get the public execution. He's on to 3. His Serpent's Fang is doing so much work. 3-man impale, but the shockwave, it wasn't enough. Here comes Blue Water. Array has been untouched, and he is farming souls. Go ahead and call him the Grim Reaper here, as he's full health flashing, as he takes down Scary Jerry and cuts down the entirety of Supernova.
Oh, Array, what a fight from him. He was the target on the back line as Hoarder, the public execution, didn't catch the Senna, but it did combo with Breezy. And that fight was close. I think what changed it was a redemption and a flick in the middle, as the redemption from Rovex caught all of Blue Water, and the flick from Samikin was so well timed and caught multiple members of Supernova. I think that's what allowed for the redemption to get off and for Blue Water to warp this fight. Take a look when the redemption comes down, guys. The first flick misses. That's the flash out of Array. Here's the redemption. Watch the secondary. It was the impale that saved them. As they suppress 2, the redemption gets off. The shockwave was big, but not big enough to get through the redemption. And then this next flick from Samikin was big. It got Quacker. It helped him land out of the Zanyas with Rovex. Okay, I lied. It wasn't a flick from Samikin.
Just the little thing.
The shockwave.
The MVP of that entire fight was Samikin's first Unraveled Earth, because literally he threw that out, and the entirety the entirety of Dardoch's strategy was completely upended. He literally had to walk through halfway and then try to Arctic Assault, and by then there was nobody there. So the combination of how Blue Otter used their team comp, the utility they had, I mean, that's incredible. That's the stuff that just puts down Supernova.
I'm going to give the MVP of that fight to Rovex. I
no,
thought
the
the
rocks,
redemption
man,
was
the
good.
rocks.
The Unraveled Earth was impactful. The flick ended up being a shockwave that was nullified by redemption in the replay. I missaw that one, but it ended up being. I thought that Rovex, again, he opened up that space for Quacker to win the fight when he was getting out of Zanya's, and then of course Array burning that flash later on to make sure that he was able to finish the fight was big. He saved it early on against the combo of Breezy and Hoarder trying to get him in the back line, so that was quite big.
At least the pause wasn't in the middle of the fight this time.
At least the pause was not in the middle of the fight. Yeah, that's
we
good.
waited until it was over.
We'll hopefully be able to get out of this one sooner than later. Of course, there are players scattered across North America, I should say, most of the U.S. Never know what the ISPs have in store for us, sometimes with some pauses.
Yep, because here we are. Very intense moment. Gonna be a little bit cool in this game number one. As yeah, we've been having some tech issues here as of late, but it's still an impressive setup from Blue Otter across so many of these fights in this game. It feels like Supernova, the strength that they have and what they're using is kind of these individual moments. We are seeing some of that, but over these last couple of fights, it's been Blue Otter favored holistically.
They're playing the fights well. This is a comp where you can definitely combo off of. I think Array's positioning has been fantastic, but for me, what I'm happy about with Blue Otter is it feels like we're seeing the macro that really defined Blue Otter in their opening split of summer. Where, you know, a year ago at this time, Blue Otter were a team that was actually really respected across the league because of the macro they had. For me, it feels like a part of this run for top four. I guess they've played fights well. Yes, they can throw curveballs with some of the compositions and looks they can give you that a lot of teams can't. But I think the baseline of having that just like good baseline macro, that's something that Blue Otter always got right. That was kind of missing for them. I think throughout the regular season, it feels like they found that, and it's been a big part of their playoff run here.
And I mean, I know maybe I'm signaling out the sore thumb or maybe the green thumb in this situation. The blue thumb, there we go. I made it down. 10-0 and 10 for Samikin and Array as a combination, as the carries for this Blue Water squad. And I just think that's so impressive.
The Blue Water magic, as we like to call it, Mazel.
Yep, they got it.
To Liga Ace and Jet Skis for really popularizing the hell and helping us enjoy the magic that has been this Blue Water run and this playoff bracket. But
it's a Seekers
I mean, the magic has been
way.
backed by a lot of good play and some good fundamentals from this team. It's made me happy to see a team that, again, just didn't have it in the regular season. Of course, they were making changes. They had, you know, Aaron for Array 1 week. They have Low Jazz for Kryra the next. They have Thin Uncle Phil, a person that I really respect as a coach that has been helping this team a lot behind the scenes. Stepping back, you know, I think that throughout a lot of the changes, the fact that Blue Water, I mean, that's what we gave Darkseer a lot of credit for, right? They had a lot of changes, but it felt like the same team. To have Blue Water now eclipsing them in playoffs, kind of going through the same, I think speaks a lot to what they've got cooking back there in that camp.
Yeah, it really does. I think it's been a pleasure and an honor to watch this Blue Water story unfold in a story where they have been in the kind of spotlight before. I mean, we had such high expectations for them this year because of what they were able to do last year in NACL. And here, kind of upping the tempo, getting a little bit further here and trying to make that push even further now as well. Blue Water just go for the siege potential. They do end up getting that inhib in bot lane. And back off as their Baron still has about 40 seconds as they, Supernova rather, go for the play here on the Quacker. Quacker is getting low, but he's not nearly going to go down as the Redemption came through. Equalizer used, counter Redemption from Supernova. They are going to just get the siege continuing in mid lane. Still 25 seconds on Bear. This turret's just going to fall.
Redemption was used, but Quacker didn't even pop the Zanya. Let's see if Array throws any Qs to help.
Okay. The flash is coming through as well from Scary Terry, and already down as Dardoch. 5 members strong for Blue Water. They're about to not only hold that door, but they're going to throw it straight at Supernova in game number 1. The comp worked out beautifully, and 2 members unkilled. Sammy Kid and Array knocking on game number 1 here. The turret still stands strong, and the wave clear is there from Supernova. But it is the Baron buff down, meaning maybe Blue Water back away, but the super minions coming in as Array is just peltering these turrets from a mile away. As he's just taking them down, Engage comes through. They get Breezy. Breezy going low. Breezy going down. He stalls impact, but look at Scary Jerry. Scary Jerry trying to outplay Array. Misses the rocket. Goes down. If that's not a culmination of this game, I don't know what is, Cubby.
I think Jerry had to go for the play onto Array. I can't blame him for that one. But it's a last-ditch effort for SN as Blue Water trying to take this game.
They go out with a bang and maybe a shockwave felt. As they do take one down, maybe a couple more. Dardoch comes back through. No Nexus towers available. Array getting locked down. Glacial Prison coming through, but Dardoch still tanky. Array finds a Blaze Olive here. Blaze Olive tries to go for the flash play. Dardoch's going to find Array. They don't have any more damage. It's Supernova. They hold the line.
Oh, Array was trying to navigate that one. I think that he could have won it if the Seekers was timed just a little bit better, but he does take the chunk from Orianna, does eat the death as well. And SN gonna have some desperate split death timers here.
This is
with
ridiculous.
Their Infernal Soul up. So this is gonna be Soul now for SN.
This is absolutely ridiculous. From opening the Nexus to now losing an Infernal Soul, what a difference this slide makes. And that's going to be a big difference in that gold advantage. It's going to be a lot of intangible gold here for them.
I mean, that's massive.
And about a minute and 20 till the next Baron, too.
This is a permanent buff now in favor of SN. And that offsets a lot of the gold advantage that Blue Water have. So a lot of the discipline that we were giving them credit for, just one bad decision. And this is a great opener. I mean, Dardoch gets Skarnered. Really tough for him to play into that, and the Nautilus. I mean, it took one impale for him to get 100-0 at Sejuani. They got Scary Jerry's flash off early. Array is just pumping this turret here. And then what happens? I mean, the rain gauge from Hoarder I thought was going to fall flat. Like, this combo that comes out was fine. They make sure that the Rel falls. Equalizer's not ideal, but it's not bad by any means. Jerry ends up going down after the rocket just barely misses Array.
I mean, a Blaze Olive is doing massive work
I mean, from here, ABO just straight up carries this.
Oh, live! We have Breezy going down in the picture-in-picture.
Even from here, like, I didn't think ABO would get out of there. Yeah, they did pick Breezy off. Again, the map control is still in favor of Blue Water. They have 2 inhibitors
They could just push for the win.
They have a numbers advantage and no Nexus turrets, or 1 Nexus turret up. So we'll see if they can find it.
None.
But again, you're playing into this Orianna. ABO's pretty big with that death cap. He's full build, so they have to be a little bit cautious.
Minions spawned. The minions spawned and denied the dread line, but they go into with the depth charge anyway. Scary Jerry loses half of his health. And now Hoarder getting locked into the unraveled earth. And I called him the MVP, but really it's Blue Water, the MVP of game number 1. 41 minutes in, they take a thriller over Supernova. And there's nothing left but the crying for them as Blue Water make a mark in this best spot. The Nexus! Oh no! The turrets have respawned. I don't think it's gonna matter in the end. It delays the inevitable as it falls at the end. And GG.
I would please ask that Riot Games, adds a health bar to the respawn.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
It would add some hype to what could be hype. That said, Blue Water, they tried to add some excitement to the Blue Water magic that game, like giving away an Infernal Soul. But still, I think the damage was done. The Senna scaled, the Rumble still did a lot of damage later on in that one. And the combos that you're able to set up with the Skarner, the Nautilus, and the Talia, you want to give Samikin props, taking the Talia into the Orianna there. Understanding that it's still a game where Talia can be very effective given what the team is able to bring her with the setup. Samikin was able to play that pick very well, even though Orianna viewed as a counter matchup, to find that win as Blue Water puts together a nice game 1.
And what's crazy to me is it definitely felt like the feelings you got from that game where that Blue Water had like full control so much of the time, but it was actually a close game until the end. I think that speaks to the way that the drafts worked out in game number 1. Both teams really opting into that scaling. And unfortunately for Supernova, they were just put on the back foot in a lot of ways. I thought the Infernal Soul was going to be the difference maker, but Supernova were able to just go straight back to the Nexus and finish the game.
And that Baron fight that Blue Water initially picked up, that was a very close fight. This was a very close game. So I think both of our teams showed some pretty good discipline. And Blue Water in the end, again, their comp, the ability for it to execute, they pulled it off. Was really good from Rovek, Samikin, Kryra to sync up. I think Blacker had a couple of decent ults too. And Array was just steady, free firing in that backline. I think the consistency in the team fight ability that he has that he adds to teams, it makes him such an easy plug-and-play player, because he's just able to solidly team fight from the back line. Did so in that game with the setup, and helped Blue Water find that game 1 against Supernova.
Blue Water is off to a very strong start in this best of 5 against Supernova, the last series for one of these teams. We'll see what Game 2 has in store for us after this break. Order is looking for a triple kill on the back of all of it. My goodness, man. Supernova wipes the floor with Citadel.
Hey everyone, I'm Armeo, and I'm here to break down the critical mid-game dragon fight from Supernova vs Citadel Gaming from Day 3 of the NACL playoffs in this Pro Diff Deep Dive. Both teams are positioning around Dragon in a close game. Citadel is grouped as 5, while Supernova is missing Hoarder's Gwen. Seeing Dardock's Pantheon split from his team and having a numbers advantage, Diamond's Braum tags him with Winner's Bite. Dardock is able to mitigate the incoming damage, but is forced to flash to avoid being stunned afterwards. As Diamond is chasing Dardock, a Blaze Ov's Talia hits him with a full combo, forcing out his shield and chunking his health. This trade leaves Citadel vulnerable during the window where Diamond's Unbreakable is on cooldown. Despite this, Kenvy's Jarvan thinks he sees a good angle to engage directly onto Scary Jerry's Corki as Supernova begins to split off, but he misjudges the size of the hitbox of Talia's Unraveled Earth. Corki is able to Valkyrie over the wall to escape, and what Kenvy thought was a low-risk play is immediately punished. Supernova immediately turns onto Kenvy with a Blaze Off and Scary Jerry taking him dangerously low, as Breezy's Alistar lands the Headbutt Pulverize. Diamond burns Heal and Locket, while Kenvy is forced to flash over the wall to survive. Without flash and at low health, Kenvy will be limited to only 1 rotation of abilities in the next fight. Citadel still has a numbers advantage, since Hoarder will take several more seconds to be able to arrive at the fight, and Supernova is split in 2 while Citadel is fully grouped. However, Kenvy is critically low health without his engage tools, and Diamond still doesn't have his Unbreakable ready from his earlier play on Dardock. Additionally, Scary Jerry and Breezy both have all of their summoners and Alistar's ultimate available, making them very difficult to quickly burst down in this position. Finally, Supernova has their key engage tools available in Talia's Weaver's Wall and Pantheon's Grand Starfall that will ensure that they can force the fight even if Citadel tries to leave. This resource imbalance puts Supernova in a winning position even though their top laner is late to the fight. Knowing that the situation will be hopeless if Citadel tries to disengage at this point, Bradley flashes in and lands Tibbers on the Supernova ball lane. Phillips' Rumble lands the Equalizer, but no one else in Citadel is able to follow up. Supernova immediately uses their ultimates in response. Ablazov knows that Citadel has almost no CC left and uses the Weaver's Wall to flank as Dardock channels his ult into the middle of Citadel. Citadel tries to quickly burst down Ablazov, but his Talia combo slows their advance and knocks Kenvy out of his EQ combo to ensure he can't escape before he uses Zanya's to prevent Citadel from trading any damage back onto him. Dardock's Grand Starfall arrives and takes out Kenvy before chunking out Instinct's Yunara, forcing both of his summoners. Hoarder's Gwen has now arrived at the fight, and Citadel has no hope as Supernova can freely wipe them off the map. Citadel thought they had an opportunity to take a 5v4 teamfight and get themselves back into the game. Instead, they end up overcommitting to a disjointed fight, and Supernova takes a clean ace, the dragon, and an eventual Game 1 victory. Thanks for watching. You can check out one-on-one coaching from NACL pros at prodiff.gg. To stay up to date on everything NACL, follow @WatchNACL on Twitter and make sure to catch the games on NACL's Twitch or YouTube. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back, everyone, to NACL Split 2 playoffs. We're in the lower bracket. Bout between Blue Water and Supernova, where Blue Water bring back some memories of round number 1, where these two teams faced off and take game number 1 of the series.
And look, Blue Water, I think they played a really nice, cohesive game. I think that was a pretty high-level game, honestly, from both of our teams. But in the end, Blue Water, they had the tools to sync up, find those, Talia flicks, whether it's Talia setting it up or the team setting it up, and they were the one that had better tools in the end. So, good win. I think that was a really positive game for SN. A lot of good takeaways from just how they played that one out. And yeah, I mean, this fight was so close, man.
So
They both
close. This was the
redemptions.
backbreaker.
Yeah, I think Rovex dropping that early redemption and then Array's ult was just perfectly timed to make sure Blue Water could live. They take down Supernova in the back half, and then it was one Nexus kerfuffle into an Infernal Soul being given over, and the game getting ever so interesting for an extra minute or two before Blue
Had to
Water put
keep
it
it-
away.
Yeah, I had to keep it close.
Mhm.
I really appreciate the combination of Samikin and Array, but Array, man. Array had a blistering game number 1. His soul stacking was incredible, and his positioning in a lot of these fights. But you can see he was like the only one untouched in that legendary Baron fight that we had there.
Wow,
And,
a lot of array damage.
Lot of array damage.
ABO definitely got those numbers up at the Nexus defense too.
He did,
As
yeah.
He had a good one. But yeah, got to give credit where credit's due to Blue Water. I think that we can point to a lot of individuals having good games. Like, I know we haven't really mentioned Rovex having a good game. I thought he had a very nice Nautilus performance. I think the thing for me is that it speaks to Blue Water. They played like a cohesive unit in that game. Not to say that Supernova didn't, but Blue Water's unit was better. And I think that's what excites me about this team, because like, even I know it's a small play, but how they took that top outer turret and how they cautiously played out of it, respected that line. I see so many dev teams cross that line and give away a pick reaching for that objective when they are giving up mid waves. Blue Water did it, and that's the good disciplined play that we knew this team always had, even if the names weren't playing at the highest level of NACL and splits past. Well, guess what? They've got a couple different names in there with the same core. They are playing at the highest level now with those fundamentals returning to the team that we're missing in the regular season. And they excite us, like what we're seeing out of Blue Water. I mean, they're 2 series away from competing for an LTA North spot.
They are. That's the craziest part, is they're making the story as we go, and it's continuing to be written here as we see that continuation of the story means that Supernova are going to be on blue side for this game number 2. And this is a different beast, Cubby. I mean, it could still end in 3 games, but it's a different beast than the last time these 2 teams met, because it is a best of 5. And this experience on the side of Supernova, with some of the niche picks they do like to go as well, I'm very curious at what kind of draft we get out of them this time around. Is it going to be one of those super early focus drafts, or are they just going to try to go another team fight set up for themselves?
I would like to see a game where they actually end up playing Maokai, or like getting a decent Maokai game. I think it's a really big pick for Dardoff. Issue about picking it early though into a player like Clyra. He has a lot of picks he can play into himself, whether it's the standard stuff like Levi that I think Clyra plays really well, or the creative stuff like Zach that he's shown that he's willing to play in these playoffs too. But Maokai has been a really dominant pick so far in our playoffs. It's 5-0. It's brought a lot of control to games. Again, you get ahead as Maokai. Your saplings are so good. And that Vi ban tells me, again, might be asking for a Maokai ban here. There's a lot of other... I mean, Varus, a big pick for Scary Jerry. He has a lot of confidence on that champion. We'll see if that ends up being taken away by Blue Water. But I think a Maokai opener for Supernova definitely could be in the cards.
After that game number 1, I'm even more interested in what this bot lane is going to give us as well, because Array absolutely got the better of Scary Jerry in that game number 1. That Maokai that you were talking about does get banned away by Blue Water, and we're waiting on the first pick. And Scary Jerry says it's my turn, as he's going to take this Yunara, a very aggressive, still team fight focus pick, but really spiking on those 2-3 items.
I've seen Senna's like be able to outscale Yunara because you're able to play with range. I'm not sure what Blue Water can grab to beat this pick. We've also seen a lot of attempts at Varus, who's playing a very early game into it.
Sivir too.
Yeah, I don't love the Sivir, and I don't love the Varus. What I do like is actually something like an Annie Wukong that could come out here. Something to consistently be able to pressure Yunara on that back line. Actually wouldn't mind the Jinx from Array either. I think the range is something that has been attempted in Yunara. She does have ways to pick you and find you. With that Transcendence W that does slow right later on. So we'll see what ends up being the call here for Array. But yeah, Yunara, very strong champion, but you do have a lot of ways you can play into it. So we'll see if Array is going to be able to find those. Zaya's not what I was expecting. Yeah.
It does provide you safety there, because what Yunara wants to do is pop ult and run at you. And I think a lot of the ways that you can counterplay that is buying a lot of time and having that blade collar to separate yourselves. I think it's going to be really crucial here. And that's just a small interaction out of all the ones we're going to see in the 2v2, and most of that's not even going to be with the ultis. So I still am a little bit scared for the Xayah for sure, and I know Scary Jerry is going to want that little bit of revenge from game number 1, as the Jax comes through for Hoarder, and it's something we talked about at the beginning of the day being a crucial pick for him.
This is Hoarder's most played champion. It has been his best champion too, as he's 4-1 of the pick. He's been dynamite pretty much every game he's picked up the Jax. And curious to see what the answer is for Quacker, as he's got options. I mean, if he wants to go for something like Renekton, he can. Show a lot of early game here if you are Blue Water. But also, I mean, if you want to get weird, you could play Olaf in the Jax if you are Quacker.
Could see it.
It's a very volatile matchup, but it's doable. If he wants it, we'll see what Quacker's up for, or if he wants to eat some bans. Because that could also be the call here. It's definitely a player that can play a lot of champions if they want to have him eat bans. But instead, it's a Shen. We expect this to be in the hands of Quacker. We do.
Let's go! Oh, I'm so excited, actually, because he'll have that teamfight impact, be able to go play across the map as well. There is a bit of worry, obviously, what Jax can accomplish in that side lane, but I still really like the cohesiveness, at least, that Blue Water are representing in the first 3 of their draft.
Now look, I know that Shen was played yesterday by Zazel in the support role. When Luminosity Gaming picked
It's
Shen,
not support.
we expect it to be a support. When Blue Water picked Shen, we expect it to be a top laner. I think that flexibility is still valid here for Rovex, but frankly, I think the idea of putting that Shen top and playing hard into this Yunara, really try and punish this pick early on and try and take down this Yunara Wakanda lane, that's a game plan that Blue Water can play off of. So for me, every other pick they're going to be drafting here should be dedicated towards attacking Yunara and this bot lane. I would love to see an Annie ban come out from Supernova just to deny this Annie Wukong combination. It can be so deadly and could really pressure Yunara in this game.
Alright, well, we will see the Alistar ban as well as the Xin Zhao ban, so a little bit of that jungle focus towards Dardoch from Blue Water's side of things. They will need to figure out how to whittle down this champ pool even more. Some of those skirmish junglers that like to go into Wukong. Okay, it's the Rise.
I really think they're trying to set up Annie.
Yeah.
As Rise, a big pick for a play solve, would enable them to play side lanes, kind of answer this Shen. Rise in this Shen is really nice in the mid to late game because you just delete the wave that Shen's in. And can try and answer him. So let's see if they deny the Annie. If not, I mean, you can save that mid lane to actually, you know, be counter pick. But yeah, if Annie was up, I think blinding that and just securing that for yourself would be really clutch. That's a smart ban from Supernova. You have the option now. I mean, you can counter support and then answer mid to get another counter pick. If you are Blue Water, there's a mid laner that you really want. You could just slam one now, but I don't think Samakin's going to do that. I think Aurora would be the pick that he would prioritize the most, but for me, I think that it's just a wait and see. I pick support here. You get something like a bar that can really continue to help pressure Yunara. So for me, this just helps, again, continue to set up. Also a nice interaction. If you're not sure if a Shen ult can land, you can Tempered Fate the person that the Shen ult's on and make sure that they live, and you can actually get Shen into the fight too, which is an option.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of those interactions requiring obviously the mechanical execution there, but I still think it's going to be a powerful pick in terms of upsetting what Supernova want to do, as Trundle has been let through. It was banned away in that game, number 1, and it's going to be picked up by Dardo.
I'm expecting Aurora here. It's a deny pick from Samakin. Also, I think a good pick in this draft for Supernova. Would put a lot of pressure, I think, on Xayah. Add some mobility to get away from something like Wukong too, and Bard. So I think that's a good pick from ABO. And if you're Samakin now, I mean, you have options. It could be a Hui, as you can just play the range game. I think you have a little bit more defense in the Trundle. I think it ends up being Hui this game. I actually quite like that from Samakin. I think it's the right setup, just having that control mage and all the options available with the utility that Hui has to help your team out. Or it's going to be a Mel.
Okay.
What's he going to catch with the W, though? Like, this is one I'm not exactly sure what he's going to throw out outside of Aurora damage being denied.
It's something he's talked about a lot on Twitter, though.
I know he's really good at it. So the other theory or idea with Mel is, I know W value is one thing. The other thing is your E value, that root that's low. For Supernova, this is a pretty low-range comp that has to run at you. I think that Mel can put a lot of pressure on something like Yunara. You can sync up with that root with the Wukong later on. So look for the Wukong combos with the Mel. We'll see if Samakin can sync up those roots. He does play this pick really well. We've seen him play it before. Gives you a lot of pressure early on. Actually, one of the few lanes that can help kind of shove out Aurora and actually pressure her. So definitely augments the comp a lot for Blue Water.
And
Yeah.
quite interesting, because we're going to have to see if that root, that Stowe, can really help set up for the rest of Blue Water.
I just have this big ideology of Blue Water being this team that has so much bend in them, right? They really love seeing a team like Supernova run into them because they have so many tools to either stop them, to hinder them, to back them off, or to even take those counter engages. And I think that's something we're going to really have to watch out for Blue Water, especially once we get to those objective fights.
Yeah, look, I think that this is going to be one for Blue Water. Again, I see that they have a lot of tools in terms of playing early game, playing to the bot lane. My one big concern, how big does Hoarder get on the Jax? Like, whenever you want to make those plays with the Stand United, we're going to be giving Jax some free time with the lane if he decides to not respond. I would love to see Hoarder not respond, because I think there is definitely a world where he can kind of out-econ Blue Water. Because that Jax later on in this game is going to be very difficult to deal with. So if he's able to get big and scale off, I think that could be a big game changer. But the game plan of playing into Yunara, I think that's what Blue Water was showing very early in this draft. And they definitely have a draft that can play into that pick with what they ended up with.
Yeah, they have so much utility on their side. But I want to hyper-focus a bit on Supernova's side of things, because Game 1 didn't go their way. They went into a kind of 5-on-5 draft situation with the way that they had kind of team fight focus. But here, they do have a little bit more sauce in the early game. And I think that's something we have noticed from Supernova at their highest of highs during the regular season as well, is some of that pace of play that they love to play with.
Yeah, well, folks, at home, talked a lot about our thoughts on this game, on this draft. Let your thoughts be heard in the chat. You guys can vote on who you think is going to win between Supernova and Blue Water. I know that over on the Twitch stream, if you check the chat right now, you can see Thin Uncle Phil, an old Blue Water coach, and definitely a Samikin believer, clamoring that the Mel pick was the right call.
Yeah.
And that Samikin can carry this one through, and it can be a 2-0 for Blue Water. So if you agree, put hashtag blue in there. If you disagree,
It's really
put
like
hashtag
the way
SM in there.
their comp works into what Supernova want to do.
Yeah,
just think they have
again,
so many options.
Like Mel W, value this game, not as high, but I think that root, that E, and playing into this melee heavy comp, a lot of ability to help open up a lot of room, a lot of space for the Xayah to function. Because again, Xayah champion is also range gated. Also gated if you're, you have to burn the flash, the R early on. You just aren't the same champion in fights. You can't do what Xayah is always able to do. So we'll see if, I think that's kind of the answer for Supernova, not just surviving the early game onslaught bot lane for that Yunara, but also pressuring the Xayah, getting her R's out. And again, I think a big Jax can really help with that, because you're so mobile with the Leap Strike and the Counter Strike. It really can make some games it pretty difficult to play Xayah in the Jackson, especially if other things are taking away your tools.
And I do love that they're giving Hoarder resources. I mean, we just handed him Rookie of the Year, nonetheless, and giving him resources, giving him comfort, especially, and having him in a position where he is a crucial factor to how they win this game. I think is giving a lot of onus to the rookie, and a very much deserved spotlight on him. As we're getting into game 2 now, Supernova, they need to try to tie things up here, or they will be moved to match point on an elimination series. Blue Water magic is alive and well, and we're hoping to see a little bit more magic in the air for both these teams as we crest into game number 2 of Supernova versus Blue Water.
All right, I'm excited about this one. See if this Shen pick can really get things moving. I mean, this is a Quacker specialty when it comes to Blue Water. Really, ever since Fearless Draft became a thing, it's a pick that Quacker, unlike a lot of our other top laners, has just been willing to play Mazel, and has played it to a lot of success throughout his career. He is 5-2 on the Shen, so we don't see it a lot, but when we do see it, it has led to a lot of wins for Blue Water.
Yeah, I remember when we were getting some of that inclusion of the crazy combinations of what Shen brings to rosters, especially with like Oriana's and things along those lines. We were seeing like the Gallios, but it was Quacker who was willing to bring out this Shen and kind of have that major impact. And so excited to see him himself on some comfort of his own in this do or die series between the two. But I think if we're looking after game number 1 and even the fan vote for game number 2, a lot of faith has been lost in Supernova, it feels like, when they face off against Blue Water, at least.
Oh. Let's dive on in and see if Blue Water can find any sort of early game against what Supernova is going to be throwing at them. Again, I think that Wukong into Trundle, definitely a matchup that you kind of build similar items, but Wukong has the mobility to somewhat deal with a Trundle. Between the W, between the R, being able to kind of terrain gate Trundle, that's the idea of how you play this matchup. You definitely scale into it. It's not like Trundle doesn't scale as a pick, but I will say that Shen stacks a lot of health against Trundle, who of course does steal the resistances, but it is kind of a nice way to at least cheat playing against that big, tank zapper in the Trundle. The fact that Quacker is going to be going for that early Heart Steal, that early Titanic Hydra, whatever he ends up going for, that's giving health, right? Not resistances for Trundle to steal.
Let's see how high the Heart Steal can stack up this game. As we're going to be taking a quick look at the jungles here. Opposite side pathing, or the two of them, so a little bit opposite side focuses. We'll have to take a look and check in on the priority of the lanes afterwards. But we saw how impactful these two guys were. I just love that both these guys said in game number 1, let's test each other's mettle. We saw so many 50-50s there, the setups for both of them, kind of just willing to hover over the objective until the time is right. And that's the kind of jungle matchup I love to see.
I mean, it was a close game, too, that
it
really
was so
warranted
close. Yeah.
a lot of those objectives. I mean, being fought on Nice Edge, very close. So, see if it ends up being the bounce back here for SN, as they're going to need to... I mean, they would like to create that stable game state again. If we're thinking early game, you've got Yunara, you've got Jax. Scaling is definitely a very good thing and a good sign for you. So, SN would like to keep things quiet early on and then kind of explode into the game once the Jax and Yunara get big enough.
Actually, really good trade there from Array. Jerry stepping up and ended up popping his Ghost there. We did end up getting the heal from Rovex just to provide a little bit of a buffer there, but Yunara is definitely going to have the push earlier on into the Xayah, as we're looking at a potential dive playing the top side by Blue Water. Won't end up coming through. It looks like resets for both junglers are on the table.
Yeah, of course, Array found a good trade. Also a coach on our sponsor, ProDiff, at prodiff.gg. So shout out to our Mayo NACL alum. You heard his voice in the break. The ProDiff ad, also the one that is helping build this business. As we're supporting alums here on the NACL stream. Scan the QR code to get one-on-one coaching from the pros, and the pros only available on prodiff.gg, including a lot of NACL players that are available on that website, like Array himself.
Go check it out. Make sure you scan that QR code. It's awesome. You get coaching from LTA, NACL, ERL coaches. It's a fun time. As this is also a fun time, seeing how these early trades are going to pan out. And Savikin gets his own twofold Hex right back at a Blaze Olive. And that'll be a nice little combination we see a lot of times in this one.
It's Emax.
It's winning out the trades here early. And yeah,
it's an Emax for Mel this game. So
it's so oppressive, man. Like it has so much range. It's ridiculous.
It does. It just doesn't. It's not that instant damage that the Q provides, where it's just kind of at your feet getting sprinkled in. So a little bit different for Samikin, but again, I think it makes a lot of sense this game. It's a lower range comp that E value could be diabolical with the setup that Blue Water has as well.
Quacker getting pushed in on this top side. Things evening out here as we move forward, but it is a little bit of priority vision around this Dragon Pit for Blue Water. Do we favor either side really hovering over those early objectives, especially that Dragon stacking?
Yeah, Blue Water. I mean, they have the Stand United, right? So if they want to play early Drake, they should be able to, but Samikin might find the solo kill.
He's
a
looking
couple
for
autos
it,
away.
man.
He could flash Q. Okay.
He does lose a decent chunk of his health, though, on the back end of it. Now we're seeing Supernova try to make a play potentially on bot side. No vision here. Engage comes through. They lock down Rovex. Here's the pillar. The flash comes out. That will be a big summoner spell back, and Breezy steps up, loses a decent chunk of his health, too.
Look how scary Jerry's stepping up. I know the wave's there, but he's Yunara. He's going to be okay. That might just be enough pressure to get this Dragon down. I know I said Stand United strong, but we do have both Samikin and Kryra on reset, so this is a great window. Zardok is able to find it. That said, playing this one very cautiously. Dragon being started at this time can be quite expensive, is getting the fruits, and Rovex now flashless to pop the Ghost. to escape out of this one, but they burned too much time. Kryra's back.
Okay, we're gonna see a bit of a test. They do have that vision ahead of it, though. At least
Can look mid.
Yeah. I do want to see a little bit of this action between the two junglers, a little bit of skirmishing as Array. Gonna take a decent amount of Breezy's health on the back end of that trade. The Lovers duo has gotten a little bit of a divorce for this game at least. But there is the backstepping
New champ
setup.
diff, you know?
Yeah, it got
Had to go to what was new
for
and exciting
Breezy.
over there, Rakan, huh?
Oh no, oh no. We're getting really deep into the lore now.
Riding around.
We're going to see Breezy find out the bad news, or at least maybe the good news for him is he's going to see Kryra doing this dragon. No real response to come through from Supernova. As they are going to finally move over Blaze Olive. The dragon takes a long time, but unfortunately Dardoch is on the other side of the world. And this dragon will go over to Blue
I
Wasp.
mean, there's no TP on Hoarder. You don't want to fight a Shen standing United at this time, so I think that's just the right call coming out of Supernova there. We'll see if things change up for Grubs. I'd love to see a lane swap come in. You can see Blue Water is sent Rovex and Array back now. Send them topside. Take advantage of the stand United. Quacker can reach a Grub fight from the bot side. He can play this wave out and then reset and join the squad. So, okay. Not going to play it out. Going to reset now to make sure he's able to pick up most of the bot wave. Will hurt his top lane a little bit, but honestly, Hoarder freezing this. Yes, he gets a little bit more for himself. Makes it very easy for Xayah bar the shove. And we could just have another Grub start very quickly on spawn here.
Yeah.
If Blue Water wants it.
It looks like that's already the case, as Supernova, though, are the ones that started up. As there's the Stand United coming in from the bot side, and all of a sudden Blue have numbers, and Dardoch finds himself deep, deep in a well, and a first blood for Quacker.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to expect that's coming in. I know I can understand sniping a Grub away and trying to deny the 3, but it still is going to be the objective victory for Blue Water, as the Quill cannot find the Grub from Breezy there, and it will just be a secure for Kryra and Blue Water. So another really good start for them. And that Shen, that first stand United, it's successful, and Jax doesn't monumentally get a ton out of it, right? It was Yunara getting the free time, which that is one thing, but again, Blue Water has so many tools to attack this Yunara with later on in the game. In a way, I think it's easier for Blue Water to deal with Yunara than it is for them to deal with a big Jax. Because you got a Wukong, Stand United, a Tempered Fate to try and set that up or play off that. Like that's a really tough game for Scary Jerry to play out. It's not like he has a get out of jail free card on the Yunara this game. So I do think that this is A-okay for what we've seen from Blue Water, as not much of this replay, just going to be Quacker porting on in and taking them on down.
Yeah, quick and easy as they do it. But really wonderful map play from Blue Water, and you could tell that Supernova are on the back foot, right? They recalled Scary Jerry to try to match that 2v2 in the top side. Got there a little bit late. They ended up losing out on a bit on that trade going through. And so now Blue Water, they will have a slight gold advantage, but not much more to speak of here. And I think now is the conversation of when do we start seeing these kind of mid-jungles with the support combos really come to a head, and I guess who's favored in that regard, because right now it feels like Blue Water have so much lockdown when they do find the picks.
I think that Blue Water is still the stronger team at the moment. It's going to be time for Jerry and time for Hoarder to scale on up. So, not yet. Hoarder waiting for that Trinity Force, but does
He's
have
waiting.
A wave
He's got to get there.
Yeah, it'll be plenty tanky with the grasp on the Jax.
And how scary is Jerry at this point?
Not very scary. He doesn't
Not
have the Kraken
scary?
Slayer yet, so we're
But
hanging
once
with
he
him.
gets it, I do really like the Ghost tech on the Yunara. He didn't go with the Cold tech, obviously, but he's just trying to complete that item as quickly as possible.
I'm down for the Ghost this game.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. You can definitely ghost your way out of Mali. Don't need a cleanse. And the only thing that's really cleansable is a taunt. So, you know, Mikhail's, if you're scared, secondary for Breezy, but probably going to be that redemption rush for him. As everyone has come around on that support item being very powerful.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely
The world
is.
agrees.
Yes, they do. It is like literally game changing, which maybe is a nice thing to see. You know, I don't mind the heavenly call out of the redemption, as we're having a 3v2 set up on the top side right now. Kryra will end up being seen here, I do believe. The push is still going to come through, and I do want to kind of consider that conversation about what the carry potentials have for this one, because I know we put a lot of onus on how does, Array play into Scary Jerry in a lot of these ways. And I was talking about like, kind of the defensive tools for him. But we are getting to a point where Zaya will have some fight pressure against Scary Jerry, even on those first item spikes that is so strong for Yunara. So do we think that that's a little bit of breathing room for Blue Water as well in that matchup?
I mean, once he gets the cold pop, then he kind of slingshots back in with the items.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of this is like Yunara. Array's ideal fight is that he pops W at the right time, and then he gets a quality ripoff, right? So people fight into him. Whereas I think Yunara's ideal fight is that she's just kind of able to maneuver her way throughout the back line. And there should be a lot more tools to pressure the Yunara. So you can't fight straight up right now because you're behind in items. But I think that you can't, like, these ADs aren't going to deal with each other, right? It's going to be them dealing with the team.
Everybody else that they have to deal with. Kraken Slayer did get completed on that redeploy from Scary Jerry. We do have items coming up for a majority here as Titanic Hydra is completed for Quacker as he smacks Hoarder in the face, takes a decent chunk of his health there. It's going to be a little bit more early damage centric of the Shen, obviously going to transition that into full tank.
We have Trinity Forces in for our junglers.
Triple Trinity Force, although it's not all on one side.
That's okay. It's going to be another Drake spawning. I will say they do have Quacker on the wrong side of the map this time around. Of course, you want the Shen playing away from the objective. The pressure Hoarder, you just run the TP.
Oh, Ray gets chunked. The pillar, the quickness, the combo. But Stand United comes through, and Cryro buys so much time. Now Quacker is here. The front line, the standard here. Taunt goes through. They're going to try to take out Dardoch. He flashes. It does anyways. Blue Water. They're finding something, but Rovex, he's getting low. Rovex not going down just yet. Finally does. Feats of Warfare completed there for Blue Water as they try to make it escape. Blaze Olive and Scary Jerry trying to run him down now as well. They won't end up getting the root from Samikin. It is just a trade 2 for 2 between the teams.
Yeah, I do think that right now Blue Water, like the start of that fight, they played it a little bit too quickly. Stand United burned on Array, who was able to save both the ult and the flash until later on in the fight. But I think the re-engage, you fought through Aurora's full ult and combo. Like, ABO got a lot done in that fight. I know that he didn't end up with any kills, but I think he really opened up the Yunara to overtake the back half of this. We're going to see the first E lead to a Dardoch kill, and I think the Blue Water should just kind of wait for the next Mel E to spawn. Going into this choke, you open yourself up to that 5-man ultimate from the Aurora, and then Hoarder hits a pretty nice combo as they are able to take down both the Zaya and the Bard. So that ends up being, I mean, it's a Drake for Blue Water. They still come out on top of the play, but I do think they could have played that one a little bit cleaner if they played the second half of the fight slower. Because these Melees are going to be fight warping. Like, again, all of the Supernova composition is kind of forced to interact with Mel E. So if Samikin's just able to kind of control the fight, play off of Wukong R, play off of Shen Taunt, play off of, Bard Q or Bard Portal, that's like really easy things to combo off of if you are Blue Water. You try and attack Supernova with your tools. And I just think they need to, play slower and make sure that when those tools come out, it's bursty. The way they did with Talia in the first game, which made that comp really good. So I just think they have to lock in again and make sure their tools are just a wee bit more synced up this time around.
Yeah, because we get the feeling of the entire fight revolves around that melee. We're wondering if Blue Water are going to get that same feeling and start kind of using that.
If anyone's going to know it, it's Samikin, man.
It is going to know, yeah.
I cannot tell you enough. Like, I mean, again, Uncle Phil, like him and Samikin, they understand this Mel pick really well.
Yeah.
It's about W value and E value. I know for a fact there isn't a lot of W value in this game. There is hella E value. Like, there is still a reason this champion was picked. And so if anyone's going to know it, it's going to be Samikin. Just like, guys, play around this cooldown or play around our cooldowns where we can sync up, link up, and take down SN. The way they did at the opening start of the fight.
Exactly. As we do see those first items really coming through for everyone. Malignant's going to be there for a Blaze Olive. As I think Hoarder might have taken the bait here. He's going to use the jump out. Try to get away, but the Magical Journey has shown up. He has no turret to fall back on, no CC, and Hoarder's just going to fall in the side lane. And for the game plan of Supernova, that cannot happen.
Good attack. They're sacking a lot of Rift Herald control, but there was no Rift play from Supernova. They're not big enough to pull this one off. As Samikin's kind of able to play that wave clear defense on the weak side of the map. He's okay on the Mel. Really hard to attack him. As long as he's got the E up, I mean, that wave clear is big. So Supernova, like the control they got over the Rift Herald, it's kind of fake. Kryra can just retake and take this side of the map as he continues to put up a big game. And Matt, like, what a story for both Kryra and Array stepping in here. Like, I know that Array, he was a player that I really highly lauded a few years back. I think that other ADs in other splits have played better. Like, we've had Masu and Sajed come up. They've played really well. But Array has still been solid. Like, he has still been a great team-fighting AD. And then for Kryra, I mean, he's a player I'm really excited about right now. For him to step into a roster like this and give them their best finish yet, he's been a huge part of that. Such an intelligent player, I know, as we see Breezy try and find a connection off the back half of that Herald play. Not able to find it, but Kryra, and he is a leader. He is a shot caller in this team. It is him and Rovex that link up to make sure that Blue Water are playing together. And we really have seen that macro for Blue Water step up and improve in the later parts of playoffs in this tournament, Mizel. I think that both Kryra and Rovex deserve credit for that. As Samikin might be in trouble.
Stand United is going to be used. They're going to try to turn this around. They have TP coming in from Supernova as well. This will turn it into a 3v2, and Samikin's getting chunked. Dardoch getting low. He's not going to go down just yet. He's not. And Samikin going to flash over the melee, and they do end up killing him with the leap strike coming through from Hoarder. And that's going to be a beautiful one as Rovex just a little bit behind the play.
Good TP answer from Hoarder. Dardoch barely living, and then you called out that flash by ADO over Melz, ability was very clean. We'll give Supernova the win. Breezy might fall, though, in the back half. Gonna have to burn the flash. Kryra.
Breezy just gets taken down by Array. Tempered Fate coming in, and Hoarder has no ground to stand on as it crumbles beneath him. Blue Water take it all. A 3-0-2 performance from Quacker as he TPs to the mid lane. And what a performance from the standout for Blue Water in the top lane.
Man, that's a great play coming out. Rovex again stepping up on the bar. The answer is going to be mid-turret as Supernova gets something, but Blue Water went out heavy on the play in the long haul, Mizel. And, Jerry got stoned mid there. We'll see if he's able to get out of that when we bounce back into this, but this was great. Like, they just stick to the play again. They see the Unara mid. The ability to turn off the turret and dive with a Wukong ult was very sound from Blue Water.
Looks like things did not end up panning out to a kill in that play before the replay, but yeah, across 2 games now, Blue Water have just looked like the more in sync team. Most of these plays have just been really calculated, really well executed, and they're on their A game today. And if you're going to show up, it's got to be now. This is an elimination series, and Blue Water are looking to do, again, the unthinkable as Array gets jumped on by the counter to any AD in a top laner. And it will just mean the redemption is burned with the Featherstorm.
I mean, I think I like that play from Hoarder a lot. He trades out ults with Xayah. You're trading way up. Array has fruits to try and sustain, but Xayah only has flash, no ult. That's a big tool down. Well worth it for Hoarder, and Supernova have full control over the river. So Blue Water, they don't have to fight this. They can give if they want.
Okay. Looks like they are. We have seen 50-50s, but I don't think this one's going to be the one, as Kryra is nowhere near. That will be the Between Worlds pop by Blaze Olive, and about half his health too, but they will deny the Dragon stacking. So stopping Blue just before they got Soul Point, and we've seen this story before. Now we got to think about what comes next. It's going to be a little while for these objectives, obviously, but 2 items completed for both AD carries. Unara will start becoming online here. I mean, 2 items is beautiful, and Atacon started up by Blue.
I mean, Supernova did take a full reset. If Blue Water are quick to this, we'll see how fast Array can get here. The portal's going to help. They're killing out wards. They got to burn it. This might be real.
They got to burn it. Everybody from Supernova is running this way. They know something's afoot.
They got it.
And that will be the Atacon right under the noses of Supernova. And that is going to be a turn and burn situation. It's slow, but they do end up taking it down. And now Blaze Olive was looking for a flank, but the permanent buff has been acquired by the Otters.
That is such a great call and timer from Blue Water, understanding on the back half of that Dragon play, they could pick up the Otacon for free. That's well worth dropping a Dragon for, as Blue Water continue to make great decisions across this series.
It's been 2 games. That's what's so impressive about this. There is no doubting how strong Supernova was. They were the first seed coming into these playoffs, and we saw them. They even talked about it after getting knocked down to that lower bracket. They love to be in the lower bracket because they have the momentum here. They're the ones that can take this lower bracket run all the way from that round number 1 into a win. But Blue Otter have had their number this playoffs, man. It wasn't just the best of 3. Right now, we're in a best of 5, and it's looking like complete control for Blue Otter.
And I mean, I love some of the drafts they're playing. Like, taking the Shen in the Jax matchup and just being like, all right, screw the Yunara, right? Like, we're fine giving you the Jax scaling top, but we know we can make this play bot. And just trying to force their comp identity, that's a big part of Fearless at times. Sometimes just, you know, what can your draft do? Can it do it into the opposing draft is always a factor, but you got to make sure that you have a cohesive draft and game plan across the map. I think Blue Otter's done a great job of drafting that throughout this playoff run. It's really helped give them that small advantage to then make good decisions with macro, or take advantage of, you know, we can guarantee plays with Cyclone, or we can guarantee plays with Stand United where we're going to have a numbers advantage, and then using that to actually find a big advantage. I think that that's what has really impressed me about Blue Otter throughout, you know, the last few series we've seen from them in the playoffs.
Dardoch going to try to get a pick onto Sammykin. The root comes down.
Stop the W.
That means that Breezy is down. Oh, Blaze Olive. He's in some trouble now. Oh, they didn't watch the ASL video. As a Blaze Olive getting chunked, getting taken down. Sammykin is the one that claims his head as Breezy goes back in for the grand entrance, but it does nothing to Quacker. Hoarder is here. Array on the side. Array is chunking them. Array is sending feathers into the brains of Supernova here and about to lobotomize them as Supernova is trying to run away. They won't lose anything more, but that was a fight they craved, that they wanted, and Blue Otter turn it on its head.
Good turn there. You can also see Quacker, that auto attack null field actually got a lot of value against the Trundle and Yunara there on this Shen, as his entrance into the fight was significant. And off the back half of that, I think they should be able to play for this turret. Jerry should not be able to walk up here if Blue Otter are showing and threatening. Rovex has flash, no flash to the top side of Blue Otter. So they will net the outer turret and get out, as that's now a 4K gold lead for Blue Otter, Mazel.
It's impressive. It is hard to come back from Supernova with the comp they have. We talked about the utility that they have, the way that they bend with the composition they have, and the way that Supernova wants to take fights. Because we got to start talking about the drafts themselves. I mean, yes, there's some really good mechanical outplays that can happen in the later game. Hoarder will always be terrifying in the side lane as time goes on, but I definitely favor Blue Otter's team fight potential here.
I mean, look, as time goes on, I think Supernova can still bounce back into this game. Yunara scaling, Jack scaling, Trundle, very real, right? But what I like about Blue Otter and what they've done, like what they've drafted, Shen being able to bridge the map into the rest of this, Mel just being such an impressive champion early on, it's guaranteed them advantages, as a Blaze Olive has to burn the Between Worlds to sneak out of that gank. So that's a cooldown taken away for nothing.
Pretty cheeky, I liked it.
Again, like, it just, Blue Otter, it feels like they have cohesive drafts, and Supernova, and this is a game, look, I think champs on paper, you can win this game, you can win this draft, but playing this into Mel, or having a comp that everyone has to walk forward into a Xayah, which was picked early in this game, that's where, I mean, we can question some of the decisions of Supernova. Like, I think thematically, when Xayah shows on 1-2, you want to take poke, or take range into Xayah. Take tools that can force that ult out. Like, look for a Jarvan pick, right? I think Jarvan always just rockets in value in these games, but he ended up giving Xayah a draft where she can function and feel good when she's picked early. Like, I think that's not taking advantage of what's showing early from Supernova, and it's really helped Blue Otter, you know, build these compositions that are cohesive when you don't punish things early in the draft. Because we knew what their game plan was after B1 Yunara. It was Shen, Xayah. It was play to bot side, right? Yeah. Supernova's draft and really find a way to beat either of those. It's Jax scaling, and they haven't been able to connect with that yet.
And that's why I find it so interesting, the adaptation or change, I guess, in Supernova's strategies, right? We did see them as a team that loved to take early game strats and find those earlier games. We've seen a bit of a lack of that kind of focus in the playoffs themselves. They've obviously transitioned to trying to just beat teams more on the 5-on-5s, but it is impressive to see how Blue Otter have dismantled them so far. We have 3 items now for Array, who just feels like he's out to prove a point in this series.
Sure. I mean, this has been really impressive from Array. As, again, I mean, Scary Jerry's in a seat that he used to be in at one point. Also going up against a teammate that he used to have in a Blaze Olive, who was on the main roster when Array was the backup, right? Thinking of him being behind Stixay in that squad. The fact that Array, I mean, again, this has been a player that has just always been solid. I think that's just a great way to describe Array.
like his baseline consistency is so big. As
Oh.
Blaze Olive is dead, maybe.
He's not dead just
got
yet. Look how
flash.
much damage Quacker just did to Breezy. Bam! Blaze Olive is dead to Samikin from
Yep.
long range. Those bunny ears just got clipped at Supernova on the back foot again. Scary Jerry, you've overstepped. You've overstayed.
That's the
You're
root.
welcome. Scary is not the name I would give to Jerry, and that's Blue Water cutting him down to size.
I love the combos. Again, the Cyclone into the Mel route. It is guaranteed. Jerry cannot escape despite burning both summoner spells. He was pushing, trying to take anything to deny what was going to be a pretty solid Baron take for Blue Water. He falls. It's a guaranteed Baron take now for Blue Water as they take full control of this game and full control of this series as we're on the precipice of a Blue Water 2-0.
And you called it. Their last series, that was a Blue Water 3-0. A massive, monumental throw from them is what gave Supernova an end into that series. And right now, Supernova are struggling to even breathe.
I just love what we're seeing from Blue Water. I know from talking with them and their coaching staff, going into the series, they're like, hey, we know that we're a hard team to prep for. Like, again, who else is playing Shen and Mel in any game, let alone the same game, when it comes to Blue Water? And they're like, if we have a team that can out-prep us or beat us in that aspect, that's when we might be able to get worried. This game, this Mel pick on 5 just seems to have thrown such a giant wrench into what Supernova wants to do. Because everyone on Supernova is range-gated by this melee. You can see just the guaranteed Cyclone. Like, Jerry does everything that he can in this kit to escape that combo, but he can't. One dash in is all Blue Water needs to punish that Yunara going down. As Kryra just has a great snap engage and trigger pull with Samikin. And yeah, you banned away the Annie, but guess what? They still had the Mel in the back pocket. And in theory, I mean, this combo is still doing what that Annie Wukong is supposed to do. It's just a Mel.
And it's not even a singular person, and that's why I wanted to emphasize that so much from the draft, is they are just a cohesive draft. They have so many utility parts, they have so many options when things go awry, when things go wrong, but when they're on the front foot, they also have all those options, and they're doing beautifully at sieging down this base of Supernova.
It's just so crazy to me that we're going to have a player like Quacker potentially be in the top 3 of NACL. I mean, again, this guy, I think that he has just been undervalued for so long in this league. What he is willing to do in the top lane by playing stuff like Shen or blinding stuff like Renekton, and then just how well he plays all of his picks in lane. Like, when have you seen Quacker have a legitimately bad lane phase? I really cannot remember the last time I saw that. Just his baseline consistency. He plays his picks, man.
And he plays
it's been
them
really
well.
fun to see. Like, him willing to slam the Shen. It really did decide and kind of warp the game that Blue Water was going to play, and the comp they found in the back half of it was wonderful too.
God, they're on the edge of winning.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't deal with them out.
It's been incredible to watch Quacker cook. I know all the emotion behind him, all the feelings in this split, and now all of that coming to bear here in this run. Blue Water, they're trying to push Supernova to the edge. A team that once came into the playoffs as first seed have found their nightmare, and it's in the shape of an otter. This siege is going to continue. About 25 seconds on the Baron. They try to make a play, but Breezy does only get Quacker. Here comes the big play order. He gets 3. Is it enough, though? He gets 1. He gets 2. He might end up finding a little bit more, but Blue Water, they're turning it an array. He's untouched. He's going to flash away. He's going to take down Hoarder with the help of Kryra, and the Stand United comes in. Quacker flash top, and it plays all of his down. The dominoes have fallen, and Supernova, they're a quiet moment in this series as Blue Water push them to the brink.
GG's, that was a beautiful game from Blue Water, man. I think that the first 2 games we've seen from them, there's been a level of discipline we just haven't seen from this team throughout the regular season, and they're a game away from making top 3. This has been such a beautiful story in NACL, this split. The fact that we have a small org like Blue Water, like these guys run tournaments, man, before they were actually playing in this tournament themselves. They've stuck with the same core. They put faith in a lot of their guys. And the fact that it's evolving and coming to a scenario where they're going to take down the first favorite that we had behind Luminosity Gaming and Darkseer to really make it to that promotion tournament. And now the second one in Supernova to be one best of 5 away from making it themselves. That's crazy, man. I mean, that's like the excitement that we were going to have in this split to fight for an LTA North spot. Like, a lot of that was the joy of Grassroots League coming back. The fact that anyone, a group of 5, can compete for an LTA North spot.
really feels like no org has represented that more than Blue Otter in this run that we've had for NACL playoffs here.
Yeah.
Is they're now one game away from being one series away from fighting for that spot.
We used to call Supernova the heart of amateur, but I got to start calling Blue Otter the heart of NACL. It's been an incredible run, the magic they have craved, and they are one game away. We'll see you on the other side of this break for potentially the final game for Supernova. Welcome back, everyone, to NACL Split 2 playoffs in the lower bracket. Blue Otter have pushed Supernova to the very edge of their entire year. A team that was built to make this promotion run is now teetering on the edge. I'm Mazel, I'm joined by Cubby, and Blue Otter have just looked dominant so far.
Blue Otter they only killed 2 Nexus turrets in the regular season. They won a game off in FF and won 2 games for real. If we're being real about Blue Otter, they've
8th seed.
They're now 4-1 against Supernova, just in this playoff bracket alone, and have won every early game against Supernova in this playoff bracket alone. As this run that they've made throughout, I mean, this has just been crazy. I think that they're playing, again, very cohesive League of Legends. It has been wonderful to watch, and a lot of these weird picks that they have. I mean, they made this game look like, why isn't every mid laner considering Mel, you know? With
That's the same against Special, though, isn't it?
It is, but the power that this champion was... look at this Root! He just won the team fight off of, like,
so
1E.
We missed it here.
Right before
this fight, he used his W not to block anything, but because it gives you damage and vulnerability when Supernova tried to all-in him down here on the bottom inhib. And I know we didn't get to see in the replay, but I thought in the moment, I was like, oh my god, that is disgusting. Like, he literally didn't have to do anything. It was everything that Supernova tried to throw at him, and nothing stuck. And I think we are really seeing Blue Otter play to their strengths, play to what we've known them to be in these kind of niche styles that they like to bring out, and really get the comfort level to another level.
Yeah, I think comfort, big story for Blue Water so far in this one, because for me, you know, we have a lot of pocket picks that I think Blue Water has been using quite well that have been picked already in this series. Like, Tryra's Wukong was part of that giant Game 2 comeback against Dark Zero. The Mel for Samikin, big champ for him. Quacker, no one else is really playing Shen top. Quacker's winning games on this. Rovax Bard, always been big. I think a lot of Rovax's champions are actually gone in this series. Like, Nautilus, Rel, Rakan, and Bard might be Rovax's 4 best champions if we're really like thinking about it or talking about it. So I think that's very real. I would love to see Breezy get a decent Alistar game in this next one because he is so good on that champion.
Yeah.
A highly contested support that we have left in the pool. But we'll see what Supernova wants to do. They're going to pick blue side for the next one. That's step one. And we'll see when and if they play for more of that early game style that we saw them you know, playing or using to win in the regular season, or if we see more of this. Hey, they've taken a lot of scaling the first 2 drafts, and it has not panned out for them.
And they had some more skirmishing in that second game, which I called out and I really appreciated, but a lot of that has to come with execution. And I think the biggest thing we've both talked about so much is the lack of coordination the team has shown today. And I think that's not something we saw from them in the regular season, not even what we saw from them in the last couple series, even though they did go the distance against Dorado. And I think this is a team that is trying to get their head back straight in this series. And there's no better time than now, and I think relying on a lot of the experience that this team has is going to be extremely important, but they also got to give themselves a fighting chance with this draft from blue side.
And I don't want to go back to like the behind the scenes of our group chat predictions, but I will, Miss L. Because again, when I threw down my SN vote, it was 5 on Blue Water, and I feel like a couple of people like might have gone back and like, guys, it's Supernova. They are a favorite. The names on this team are really good. Blaze Olive was our best mid this split. Like, is he really going to drop a best of 5 to Samikin? I mean, so far it looks like yes. And Supernova, that team that we have expectations for, we just haven't seen them show up, haven't seen them have those big games. So we'll see what happens in this next game. I will say Trundle out of the pool. I think Scion rockets up in priority for both these teams. I think with the supports we have out of the pool, Alistar rockets up in priority for both of these teams. And of course, with a lot of the junglers down, we are seeing Xin Zhao sneak into these later games and be very dominant when he does show his face on the Rift. So we'll see. I think there are a couple options for Blue Water in terms of what to ban here. It was the Maokai last game. I think it has to be the Maokai again if we do see a Vi ban against Cryro, which there it is. Thanks to be Maokai response. We'll see what Supernova decides to end up with.
Very similar bans so far in the series. It's the Rise ban. So maybe we end up getting the Maokai actually let through.
I mean, if Maokai gets picked up here, you could play like Xin Zhao Annie into that and Yone and really make Yone hate his life, as Yone doesn't really want to see Annie in the game. Just too many stuns for him to really be able to function. Not to mention the good lane phase for Annie as well. So see if that ends up being the pick, but Blaze Olive, no Rise in the game, might just be Victor. So he's taking our artillery mage. I mean, Samikin is willing to play Lux here if he wants. He can also play the Hui. That's a fine matchup in the Victor. So I think that really is a Blaze Olive just kind of saying, hey, I can play this into whatever Samikin has, and we'll go from there. As he's kind of safely wanting his own champ. I want to see Maokai though, man. The threat you can have on the Victor with Maokai is very real.
Yeah. No doubt. We'll see if that actually ends up slinking on through as the Seraphine comes through. A little bit of flexibility on that pick. I know we talk all the time about what Samikin loves to pick in the mid lane, how, you know, he voices his feelings on Twitter all the time. I'm very curious of what they want to build around this for Blue Otter.
R1 Seraphine. Holy cow.
They're feeling confident too, man. I mean,
this could be mid. Like, there is a world where you play too fast for the Victor, and that Xin Zhao being picked, that tells me it's going to be potentially a Seraphine mid. Now, Dardoch, if there's any game for Jungle Silas, maybe,
do it.
You get an Encore, you get a Xin Zhao ult already. That's not bad.
Please. I need to see the Dardoch character, because something you might not know about this Supernova roster is that they were so damn dominant in the regular season. And I think Dardoch showed up in a lot of those series. I mean, he was willing to go with a little bit of flexibility in the jungle. He was willing to go with some spicy picks as well. And we do end up waiting for that Dardoch pick here so far as the Alistar locked in.
I think Alistar, no surprise there. Bromstonk's definitely going to go up here for Rovex. And Sivir, again, a lot of scaling and a lot of wave clear showing for Supernova. I do like they denied Alistar in a game where they have Sivir. Alistar is a very good champion in the Sivir. Of course, Spell Shield, you can only block one ability out of the combo in your short range, which sets up for Alistar rather well too. So the fact they get both is nice. And yeah, I mean, Braum in the Sivir, Alistar isn't great. You don't want to play Braum in the Sivir. So I think Leona is probably the only pick here for Rovex. If that indeed is a Seraphine mid, which it does look to be for Samakin. And a lot of CC and Lockdown showing for Supernova to back up that Xin Zhao. And I gotta say, I think they're gonna really want to carry top laner. So for me, I think it's AD on 4, get counter pick for Quacker, and try and set up a game where he can be somewhat functional. I think that Olaf, in terms of his carry picks, see, Olaf is nice, but it goes down in value in a Sivir game. Because then the team can run away from you, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a move
they
speed
get the
advantage.
speed up.
Yeah.
We do end up seeing a little bit of Dardoch love, a little bit of respect handed over to the general of Supernova in the Mundo ban. And the Olaf ban has respect right back to Quacker, not wanting to deal with that. And it's just both teams now have very kind of cohesive strategies. And I love that for Supernova. I know that's something that maybe has been lacking a little bit in the execution of things. But they're going right back to that team fight special for themselves, at least in the first 3.
I'm a bit surprised they banned Olaf. Again, like, you have the Seraphine double W to help empower you. But I think that Sivir Victor with, like, the Stiveralt is almost too much for Olaf to deal with. It is a very good pick for Quacker, though. Give him that, as Jarvan now denied. With the Victor, Alistar showing, I don't think they're very worried about a Maokai. Maokai would make the game really slow for Supernova. I think that Dardoch needs to take more of a bridge champion, or a champion bridge into this game. Like, this is where I think Poppy could be really valuable. Just holding that front line for Victor and Sivir, like, could be really nice, right? So that's a pick I could definitely see Dardoch going for. I think he just needs something to stabilize the game and give them some strength early so that these lanes can get their farm.
He needs something. He's got to be the guy to stand up here. As we see the Gwen banned away, is the final ban for Supernova. See what the counter pick is going to be left for Blue Otter as they get the Zeri. And they are fighting fire with fire right now, as there is going to be such heavy fighting around those objectives.
Range diff in favor of Supernova with that Victor. Zeri will get the passive proc from the Seraphine when grouped. Because the shields, you know, you get some bonus mileage with Zeri. I'm expecting to see the Scion here. I think that there's not any damage on Blue Otter's comp. And Scion is a very happy camper in this game. As that is a very, very good pick.
Hey, there we go.
Kiana. Okay. Look, I think this is a game, like, if you're Quacker and you want to really get weird, I think Set actually has a lot of value this game. Going up against the Scion, Alistar, like, gives you a way to get onto the Sivir, maybe. But Quacker's got a choice of his pick. We'll see if he wants the Darius. It's not the world's best matchup. But like, you can beat the Scion. I just don't know if he wants it this game.
Mordekaiser! Woo! You know, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt here, all right? You got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I see you're not sold, Cubby.
No, look, I think for Blue Water, they've played very fast early, and they have another comp where they need to win early. Like, the scaling on Supernova, though, it's really big. And my concern comes from the Scion. I just think that there is not enough damage to get through this Scion if Blue Water does not have a significant lead early on in this game. So I think Scion is, like, kind of exactly what the doctor ordered for Supernova's comp. Because he's just going to try and hold the door, hold the front line for this Victor and this Sivir. And it definitely did open up for a Kiana pick, which is going to try and act as that bridge. But Mordekaiser being able to take one person out of the fight, that could be nice. Like, I gotta say, if you take Scion out, can Mordekaiser necessarily 1v1 and beat Scion in the Death Realm? No. But if Scion's missing, can the rest of your comp with the Seraphine, Leona, Xin Zhao, can it effectively attack a Victor Sivir with only Alistar being able to hold the door? That could be a yes. So I think that could be the idea for Supernova. Like, I view Scion as very important to this composition in fights. So if you remove Scion and then can enable your 4v4 to play, Blue Water should be able to overwhelm in that scenario. Whereas it's really tough to overwhelm if Scion is there to, you know, decimating smash, unstoppable force. You can't get through the front line, right? So I think that's got to be the tech for Quacker and kind of the idea behind this Mordekaiser pick.
And how crucial has this top lane matchup been so far in this series? It's so interesting now, after seeing the Jax for Hoarder go a little bit astray, not find the comfort level that he normally has on that pick and find a loss on it to Quacker. Now he's giving like another complete different job in the Scion and trying to be that front line, trying to be that body marker for Supernova. It's a lot of weight on the shoulders of our Rookie of the Year, but something he can bear as well with his team. And I really appreciate this style of comp from Supernova. They're giving themselves so many win conditions as long as they don't throw away the game.
Well, folks, we talked a lot about drafts ourselves. Have your voices be heard in the chat. Hashtag SN, hashtag blue for who you think's going to win as Mazel. Supernova, I mean, their season is on the line. This was a team that was a favorite that banded together to really try to promote into the LTA North. Get a lot of these players that have been there before back. And they got to win 3 in a row now. Do something that they have not done since the regular season, quite frankly. Supernova, this is tough. This has been a tough ask for them. And I will say time is their friend in this game. We'll see if it's their friend in the series, because they're going to need to scale into the series as well if they want to find the reverse sweep.
This is a team that obviously was very close with the other in the top 3 category, but ended up as our first seed after some very dominating games throughout that regular season. It was a team that came together for this summer to really make this run and make this happen, and it's a lot of experience. You obviously have some of the newer faces, you know, Scary Jerry trying to get a little bit of a revenge tour to get back to the LTA, but this is a team that if they don't make it to that promotion tournament, it will be a disappointment for them, and especially with the high highs we had for them coming into the playoffs, and to now see them potentially on the end of that run, it's a scary feeling.
It is, and we're going to have to see if they can end up connecting. Things have to connect now, Zell.
Now or never.
We've really seen, like, the story of the series just feels like Blue Water. I do think they've had draft edges in the first 2 games. Like, I think the Mel pick was really game warping and made things really tough for SN. I don't view that the same way in this game. I think that the core of Supernova, like Scion, Victor, Sivir, you can win that game. That's a winnable game in the league. So Mordekaiser is going to throw a wrench in things. We'll see if the Death Realm is enough to make sure that wrench is big enough to actually change things.
Yeah. Well, we're getting the game now. Blue Water, they just have the magic, man. It has been consistent. It has been often. They did fall into the lower bracket here, but now trying to make their own run to that promotion tournament. A team that had no real expectations in them coming into the playoffs, now exceeding those tenfold. Can Supernova stop the onslaught of the Otters? We're getting into Game 3 now and a potential decider for this best of 5.
All right, Mazel. Supernova versus Blue Water.
30 seconds until minions
Winner of this
spawn.
series, of course. Top 3, 1 best of 5 away from fighting for the LTA North spot. Loser of the series goes home. We'll see them in March or whatever time NACL kicks back up again next year. As we do
Whatever
this again.
time that is.
So,
No big deal.
big match, big gap. We'll see if Supernova, again, they've struggled to really get into games. This is a game where their defense in the early game is going to be about the wave clear. Victor and Sivir can delete waves. Scion can delete waves. Can they absorb the creeps, survive the early game, and scale into this game? Or will Blue Water be able to find a death ball with the Seraphine Leona?
Couple key factors as we do see a little bit of a cheeky late invade for some vision by Blue Water. They will get that vision on Dardoch, who does seem to be starting on bot side, so they will have information on this early setup.
Yep, pings go down. They see where Dardoch started, so Cryer gets some info. His Raptors are warded out, but he is starting on the red buff, so not playing for the Raptor cycle quite yet. Just going to take the buffs first. As Kiana Mazel, definitely an exciting champion. Honestly, one of my favorites to cast. Supreme display of talent. It's such a game-warping ability in terms of that ultimate, your ability to see what you can do. We'll see if Dardoch is up to the test, up to the challenge to make sure that he can lead his team to victory in this one.
And it's important for him to do so, right? You talked about him being the kind of the bridge builder here for the squad itself. They have so much scaling, so much potential, but if Dardoch is behind, you're always going to try to find any influence you can to make that worse. I wouldn't be surprised if Blue Water want to put a little bit of pressure on Dardoch if they get some prio in lanes. And that's something else we got to talk about as we go through the cycle of the vision. It is really about how early those connections have been happening. I mean, we have seen Breezy and Rovex really get out of those lanes, but it seems to come to a head around those objectives, and specifically the grubs, every time.
Has been a lot of grub fights. I think if Dardoch can be 6 for that. I mean, the Supreme Display's talent around those walls can always be big. And one of the reasons we have seen Qiyana get back into the meta is that jungle clear is very quick, which Dardoch is doing very well right now. As you can see Qiyana ahead of the Xin Zhao. Definitely has ways to play defense later on in this series against that 3 talent strike, being able to go into the grass field and being invisible. So, see if Dardoch's up to the task.
I think if there's anybody to do so, the general for Supernova. Really trying to put his experience to the test here. And building a nice reputation for himself here in Tier 2 as well. As it is going to be the preemptive lane swap, so we are just saying, screw you, Dragon, we do not care whatsoever. As Supernova are going to immediately move their bot lane to top. Ooh, denied the base too from Quacker.
That's big, as that's going to force the TP out. And yeah, I mean, if you're playing a Sivir comp with a Sion, I think that forcing the swaps like this, always good. As Sion always very happy to absorb, and yeah, I mean, they ended up getting Sivir the bigger waves. You can see XP advantage onto Sivir. Zeri's behind, and in a Zeri versus Sivir game, I know it's not the Enchantresses to back them up, but it is always important to get one of these hyper carries ahead. They can do a lot, and that swap from Supernova, and they just went win-win.
Yeah.
They got
a lot of health gone.
XP advantage bot, XP advantage top.
Oh! Blaze Olive has to sidestep it. He's getting a little bit low there. Samikin just has him. He's almost dead, under 100 health. Gonna be popping those potions.
Another pick. Perhaps.
Oh my god! Samikin, you monster!
Oh no,
he has had a Blaze Olive's number every step of the way, and that's another big one.
Oh my god, Samikin, this run, taking down Toasty, taking down a Blaze Olive. He's got the 2 best mids to go in terms of the all-pro ranking ahead of them, but a Blaze Olive was the first one here, and he's trying to make sure that he falls in this. That's a Seraphine into Victor, solo, Boldo. That is crazy from Samikin, and a Blaze Olive. I mean, he panicked at the back half of this. He loses his flash for nothing. In the wise words of APA, this brother just flashed air.
Oh my god.
Samikin gets a freebie.
This is a statement series from Samikin. Ban his Zoe all you want. He will still pull out things you will not expect and find the advantages. Now in top lane, Supernova trying to get out of this play in the 2v2. It's still a monumental advantage in the mid lane for Samikin, at least with the 1 kill. See if they can make good on the rest of it, as we do have objectives coming up here sooner rather than later. Dragon is spawned, and we do see Kryra on that side of the map at least.
Well, folks, if you want to find out how ARP do it themselves and play their best, check out our sponsor, ProDiff.gg, one-on-one coaching for the pros. Scan the QR code to make sure that you get the best coaching available from pros and pros only on ProDiff.gg. So the people that get paid to do it and do it best, check them out. Head on over there. Make sure you're getting the best coaching available from the pros.
We're looking for the bridge building. Unfortunately, the construction team has not come out to the site yet. Dardoch still trying to find influence where he can, but Kryra and Blue will go ahead and take this dragon. That means, yeah, at that point, that's going to mean that Blue Water can contest over the grubs too.
I mean, again, I think that a lot of the strength is all going to be them early. It's just about how many items can Sion amass. We'll say, I mean, it's still the Boldo going over to the Seraphine, but you look at the gold graph, it still is an advantage on this Sivir. So if Scary Jerry can cash this one in, I think late game fights are still tough for Blue Water. It just is going to be about, can the Sivir auto attack or not? Sion, Alistar being able to make space for the Sivir. That's real. We'll just have to see if it connects.
That is the question and that next conversation here, but I don't know. There's just something in the air, man, Covey. It's been so wonderful to. I know we're gonna refocus on Samikin. Yes, he's had some spicy picks today, but the story that this guy has had, the kind of positive attitude he's had, has been so infectious. I feel like, and it's so nice to see all that effort pay off, right? This is a guy who's been devastated with the losses Blue Water have been faced with over this last year and a half, and it's really nice to see them pushing the mold.
And honestly, for me, like with some of those losses, I feel like Samikin was kind of a difference, right? Not for a positive.
Yeah.
Do you think that in the past, I mean, there have been games where Samikin, the picks that he's able to play, he always plays them all right, but sometimes they're just not good enough to win games, or you know, he can't bring his team across the finish line of the series. This time around, it feels like it's a bit different, as again, Samikin has really taken names on this playoff run, and a player that came up with Toasty but just hasn't ever been allotted, I think, to the same level, has really been making a splash for himself throughout these playoffs, playing his game, which we love to see.
Again, they have to make good on it here. They've got a couple chunks into Supernova, but they've got to finish it off. As Thanos said, you're going to come at the king, better not miss the head. As Array is going to get chunked down now as well. Beautiful boomerang coming through from Scary Jerry, as they're going to have full prio on this top side ahead of the Grubs. Rovex has TP, at least.
He does. I don't think there's a real fight here, though. If anything, I mean, they'd love to get more on the Mordekaiser, which they can't, and bots behind. So again, this is where some of the swaps to CS for Supernova has been good. Because that Zeri's behind. And I will say that in the matchup, I mean, I think Alistar versus Leona here, the Sivir-Zeri matchup can be kind of tricky. I think that as Zeri, you need to find a way to pressure and overwhelm and kind of deathball the game. And Alistar is just such a good neutralizer against Leona for doing that. Because we're going to see the dive come in.
Oh, nice flash from Array. They're trying to outplay this tower dive, trying to take down Scary Jerry. TP's going to come out, and Dardoch gets the kill on Array anyways. Breezy going to give his life, sacrifice it over, but the double TP play from Blue Water. They're up with the tempo, and they're going to bring the double smash combo over as Dardoch's trying to weave his way away. He's going to try to get away with his shroud, but he won't find much promise there as Feet of Warfare claimed by Blue Water again.
They lose a wave mid. We have Kryra picking up a bot wave, so they actually come out of this okay. They're going to lose one more wave bot, but Blue Water answer the play. Ablaze Olive to sneak up top will catch things here as Eclipse on the Kiana to start, and Blue Water at least kind of able to neutralize. Seraphine's got 2 kills. I mean, you can only do so much as Seraphine. We'll see what Samikin can do in terms of the damage. He's got the Seraphs already, so ability haste, those abilities will be popping as they rotate out. But I think Supernova, like, that was a decent play. They do have a lead in that bot lane. And we have seen, I mean, again, with Sivir, with Victor, if they're able to delete the waves, push out and scale, can be okay.
You have to give them the benefit of the doubt in the comp they drafted in those team fights, right? We were looking for the bridge builder. That hasn't necessarily been the case, but you still have everything to fall back on, right? Ablaze Olive chose this first pick Victor for a reason, because he has a lot of confidence in it, to bring Supernova back into this series. And I think that's where they are due some of that respect for what we've seen from them, being able to manage this lower bracket run they've had since getting knocked down.
Yeah, and we're going to lose a little bit of our momentum here. We'll try and get news on the pause.
We're back, baby. All you gotta do is complain about it.
It only was an NFL Red Zone ad, you know? that was the duration of this pause. Shout out to ProDiff.
Yeah, there you go. A little side shout out. No, but seriously, shout out to ProDiff. There is a situation where we have a bit of a wonky lane setup at Ablaze Olive.
It's a Death Realm.
Is just going to be brought into the Death Realm. He will know that Rovex is here to end his life with Quacker. Quacker needs to shield. Quacker gets the kill, and Quacker makes the difference on the Mordekaiser, stealing the soul of the mid laner of Ablaze Olive.
Death Realm gank assist, baby. Quacker comes back to planet Earth with a friend as Rovex, the shining light in his life,
TP.
helps him turn around that matchup in the 1v2. We'll see if Quacker can survive the 1v1. He's down Flash, he's down Ult, and he might be going down the Hoarder.
He just really wants that cannon minion, you know?
I mean, that's all
okay,
he's
he
got
got
to
it.
play for this
70 gold plus as Dardoch coming over to take this kill. That would be big. He's just going to give it over the solo bolo to Hoarder.
Attaboy Quacker. you know, sometimes the cause of your own demise, you know, can be good for the team in game. As Quacker makes sure the gold doesn't go over to Dardoch. Samkin
with a
flashes
really
out of that
nice
combo
flash.
from Breezy. A little bit of chaos across the rift. But Samkin should be able to pick up this wave, and we'll see what Blue Water wants to do. I think they still have to keep on grouping and trying the death ball here. And this game, it has slowed up just a wee bit. I know that we just saw like a lot of speed across both lanes, but this Scion's gonna get quite big off the back half from that play. And Quacker to go for the Rift Maker, not the Leandries, so he's a Leandries away from doing real damage to that Scion.
Oh, Blue Water in some trouble here as Breezy got back with the TP. We're hovering back over to this bot side as Dragon has spawned. Blue Water have been really good about taking the early dragons so far. And Supernova want to put a bit of a hindrance into that plan, but some vision here by Blue Water is giving them all the information they need. They're going to finally bring up this setup from Kryra, try to catch out Supernova ahead of this dragon. The vision.
Blue Water going to be
they're on
disappointed
a
in terms
ward.
of holding their lines. Yeah, they're on a ward, but they can still hold most of the line. They can play through bot too, as Seraphine can still delete the waves. Victor can just answer now.
Unfortunately,
ABO
Scary
just had
Jerry
that
has the
evolve.
difference in mid.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Sivers going to win that, and he's ahead in items. He has the Essence Reaver, and I think that's enough to make sure this Dragon does go over to Supernova's way. As the Torch and the Essence Reaver, two pretty strong items right now. Zeri not on her first, and the Seraph's not yet evolved, so we're going to take that time, get a Unitals on Zeri, and just play it out.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate for
It's a
Hoarder.
pressure R, and I think that's why we had to pause, guys, this quarter.
Yeah, I think that's why. And
He-
that
he
feels
did
a little
step
bad.
away. I mean, it's okay. It's okay.
It happens.
It does. I think that was a just pause, and we'll stop the conversation there. But we're gonna keep on diving into this one as Quacker at least did get a little bit of lane pressure, and now we'll see if Hoarder is what he's able to do from here. Can base it all back if he wants to try and answer. And Herald gonna be the next objective up. We'll see if Blue Water does indeed set their sights on this one. They did trade it. I think the trend of Blue Water throughout the playoffs is that they've had very heavy Herald priority compared to a lot of other teams. They've been very willing to trade dragons for Herald. Of course, these two dragons being taken quite early in the game, we're going to get a desync timer, so we'll just be a straight-up Herald fight. But I got to believe it's one that Blue Water wants. Like, the Victor only gets stronger in this game. The Siver's only going to get bigger in this game. You have first items. I think a Herald fight, it should be advantageous for Blue Water. If not, then they're already in trouble.
And we are getting those first item spikes. Does that change this setup whatsoever at all? Does it give a little bit more room?
I mean, Blue Water kind of caught up with the bases, right? We're even on the scoreboard. It's going to be Blue Water favored.
All right, well, they were sending Samikin down bot lane to catch a wave. They will do the old swap-a-rooney as Quacker will have TP for the opposite side play. We do get the turret plates falling. It's all positioning around this mid lane. Scary Jerry can play extremely confident with that spell shield up, but Blue Water will be first to move to the pit.
They did sack the top wave to make this happen, though, so ABO is maybe going to get that turret for himself, already quite low from the pressure that Jerry was putting onto Array, who was already low in this one. So the chip damage from the Sivir has been good. Ablaze all of his flashes, so he's the play.
Oh, Rovek's going to go for the Flash Solar Flare play as Samikin in some trouble here. He is getting the Chaos Storm down, and Samikin wasn't able to hit anything. Now he's going to go for it. Encore on top of everything. Blue Water trying to make the play. Kryra trying to get back over here as Blaze Olive is still alive. He's going to pop down the gravity well. It's a supreme display of talent. No one damage coming through from Supernova as Array gets the lightning crash, and Array is about to be Zeus here as he is taking the lives of Supernova. They get the lockdown. They get a Blaze Olive as Quacker takes him down. And that's a big play for Blue Water ahead of the Rift Herald.
Look, I think the timing for Supernova, ABO did his best to play his way out of that, but they're just not strong enough on this timer. And that long fight, the Seraphine, those double W's, ended up paying off big for Blue Water as they keep the Death Ball alive. That is a fight one and a Herald for them. And I don't agree with Supernova's decision-making there. I think this Herald was dead on your screen given the drafts that both of these teams had. I think it's about playing cross-map. Go play bot lane with ABO and try and get this Victor resources, get back in the game and give up that Rift Herald. I think he played one wave too many top. Supernova, they panicked to try and answer, protect their mid laner. I think it was about playing away from that objective. Because again, just given the comps on my screen, this isn't a winning fight for Supernova. And the fights later on in this game get so much better for them. So I don't understand forcing the pace now.
And just a little sore note, you first picked the Victor and now down 0-3 for a pivotal piece to the puzzle of Supernova, and that's going to be a feels bad
Yeah,
day. Now we do have the Rip
kinda
Herald
crazy.
play for Blue Otter as well.
Samakin's doing some disgusting things this game.
This series has been his statement game.
Victor should Victor should not be 0-3 into a Seraphine. You should not be getting solo kill level 5 in this matchup. But Samakin making it happen into our first team All-Pro mid laner in ABO as he continues what has just been a massive playoff run for himself and the rest of Blue Water.
And the craziest part about this story for Blue Otter is how it started, but how it's been going since then, right? They've had some incredible series. They were knocked down to the lower bracket by Conviction, but the fact that they were able to take down not only Dark Zero, they were able to take down Supernova first and foremost, now doing the job again, and also potentially have a rematch on the other side of this one with Conviction too. I mean, it is just storybook potential here for Blue Otter.
I mean, a 3-0 against Supernova here. I think of all the results that I was going to guess today, I mean, in part, I'm not 100% surprised. In another part, I think I'm very surprised, just given. On paper, you tell me the start of the season that Blue Water 3-0 Supernova in playoffs, I think that's crazy. What we've seen on the Rift, though, throughout the playoffs, Blue Water has earned the respect of myself and the league with how they've been playing. As I think the additions of Array and Kryra to this team really got the core across the finish line, and Quacker and Samakin and Robex have all been playing great with this core as well.
And I just have to say,
Quacker's getting TP'd on. He has Death Realm.
Oh no, Breezy! He stepped up a little too far, so now they're not only going to get the dragon, but they're also going to get the kill on a Breezy. Quacker is in a 1v2 trying to kill a Blaze Olive. He shouldn't survive very much longer, but he might kill Blaze Olive. Misses the final obliterate, and he will go down in the end, but still feels like in favor of Blue Otter.
Yeah, they do get the dragon, and they can use the Rip to play fast bots. So Kryra is going to drop this. Him and Robex will base, but they're at least going to... Oh, never mind. He's going to take it. They're going to play for an inner crash here, too.
I'm just so unbelievably impressed with the macro decision-making, the plays from Blue Otter. I mean, if LG and Blue Otter faced off right now, like, the macro has been there to have that kind of contest. I know we're a long way from that potentially. Yeah, they are really good. But Blue Otter have leveled up so much in how they played the map, and I think that's so impressive from a team that didn't have expectations coming into these playoffs.
They have. Look, I think that's what happens as well when you add Kryra to a team. I mean, I've been in rooms with Kryra, you know, shout out to Saito and FlyQuest, as 10 players on the NA ladder got to come out as Parth put together something for them to have a little boot camp in FlyQuest. They were coached by Draxer, Ido, and Parth. I mean, that's a great room to be in. I think everyone has seen now what Ido can do at the highest level with DSG. If you're a fan of NACL, you've always seen what Ido has done here with his teams. It's Robex, see what he can do here.
Play coming in. I mean, this was Supernova that pulled this play, and now they've got to be on the back foot. Robex going in, but misses a little bit. Oh, the encore comes through, and Lightning is crashing once again. I didn't know we were in the Greek pantheon here, but Array is putting on the stunting shoes as Order's going in with the unstoppable onslaught. Does connect. You do have Kryra going down on the side by himself. Array still trying to free fire. This Scion is tanky as Quacker's trying to find his way to be this tank. Dardoch comes around the corner. Array trying to get away. Now Quacker still has his full shield. He's going to get it back. He's going to try to go into Death Realm here and try to take down Hoarder. He will be in a 1v3 when he comes out of it and won't find the kill on Hoarder as he's taken down by a Blaze Olive, and they're right back in this game.
I think the scaling of SN's starting to kick in. They're going to have a gold lead that's pretty big after they take down this turret. Robex is stuck. He overextended. Redemption can't save him. Seraphine cannot save him. Another kill given over to Supernova. Otacon's on the map top side. We'll see if Blue Water can play fast for that one. I do think that if they played that a little bit slower, maybe coming out of the, you know, Quacker spawn here, they could have, like, TP'd and thrown everything at Otacon. Not the case, though. Supernova find a massive and much-needed win off of what I thought was a misplay from Blue Water. I think Kryra played that fight a little bit too fast with the re-engage.
And that's Supernova super scaling that bridge building. I mean, I don't know how intact the bridge is, but they're getting there anyways. They're able to cross it and get to this point. At a point, a Blaze Olive was 0-3, now sitting at 3-3 on this scaling victor.
That was really important, and I think a lot of the power now for Blue Water has been taken away. Because, again, the scaling of the Sivir, the Victor, the Scion, it's so big. Look at how far behind Mordekaiser is. Seraphine is going to get outscaled now throughout this game. As Victor damage, the poke will be too much to overcome, and Sivir is at 2 items and change. So, what was such a positive first 18 minutes from Blue Otter, it feels like just off that fight, all that good work is just kind of put to the wayside now, Mazel, as they're going to have to fight coming back into this game. Supernova found a much-needed win for them, and will now take control of this one as they're starting to play around with this Otacon.
They are indeed. I really like some of the tempo they're playing with here, trying to push the mantle of Blue Otter back, as Atacon did get started up as a little bit of a bait, as Blue Otter are getting surrounded now. Be a bit careful working around this because of the supreme display of talent. Can absolutely change the fights here. Some of the map state has gone to the wayside for Blue Otter, and they're going to lose some damage on the turrets. Okay, they didn't. Never mind.
Yeah, Ray's got that one. Still, though, like, the Sivir, Victor, it's online. Like,
oh, yeah,
they have
sure.
missed out on their window to where they would have their comp online versus Supernova's is not. Supernova's comp is relevant now for the rest of the game. A lot of gold given over to them. Off of Blue Otter giving up some shutdowns, making some mistakes in that fight. As we now have a rocket belt on this Mordekaiser. Just going to try and use that to land some more E's and Q's in these fights. Maybe get out of the Decimating Smash or two. I think the important item, though, especially that Serpent's Fang. Think of how valuable the Serpent's Fang is against a Seraphine Mordekaiser team, Mazel. That is going to be a lot of mileage for that Serpent's Fang from Dardoch. And it just feels like Blue Otter had all the momentum going their way, and all the wind has just been taken out of their sails in the last couple of minutes here, just off of one fight from SN.
Yep, and that's a crazy potential there, as it is Dragon started up by Dardoch on the other side of the map. You know, there was a ton of posturing on the top side of the map. It's still going to be full control down there for them. They will even up the Dragon stacking here as well on an Infernal Dragon, which is going to feel very, very nice. But as we've said all along, it feels like these, you know, stalemates, these dead ball states are in favor of Supernova as they continue to scale into this one. So Blue Otter said, we got to make a play. There's going to be the encore going a little bit wide with that Unbreakable Will pop by Breezy. Blue Water tried to make a fast play on the back end of Supernovas, but they weren't able to find it.
Yeah, honestly, a good late pop of the Unbreakable Will there. I mean, if he pops it to get out of the Leona combo, he would eat the encore in that full duration, so Breezy saved it for the right ability. Small play, but well played by him. Saved himself his life for sure. As Blue Water sack the Dragon, going to try and fix some of their waves, but no forward progress being made by them on the map, Mazel, and that's bad news going up against the Victor, Scion, Sivir, because it means they're eating all the waves.
Yeah, and there's also the Serpent Fang now on Dardoch, which gets immense value in this game against Blue Water with the way they like to play their team fights. So far, it is looking like a struggling position for Blue Water. The first time in this series, and maybe Supernova have woken up just in time, Cubby.
Yeah, again, Blue Otter. They just can't really make their way out onto the map. And you can see Solar Flare going sideways there.
That is the flash.
Yeah, but still, that's only on an Alistar. Breezy didn't have ult up, so I like the timer. The attempt, I mean, if he does catch him, then would be able to get a pick, so it's a summoner spell taken away, but like the pot, like it was Blue Otter being able to, you know, push waves out past the halfway point of the map, and then just being forced to only respond in the last 5 minutes of play, just again off of one fight. So they've done a good job of making sure that at least Otacon cannot be hit, can't be started for free. Baron's about to be on the map, and with Dragon not spawning for another 3 minutes, full focus on the top side.
Double big objectives over here as we're getting later and later into the game. Still very hesitant to see how Blue Water stakes a claim in this side of the map, as there's going to be the redeploy coming out from Supernova on that side. And if we were asking for one thing, it was that Supernova needed some of that early game to get them to the late game. And I think we've seen a bit of that come back into the fold for Supernova, but it is far from a one game. Obviously, we talked about the scaling differentials, but still some options for some big picks and things along those lines for Blue Otter. But another check-in I wanted to do was on Hoarder, right? I talked about at the draft that it's a very different strategy you have to pull off, especially coming off of a game where you didn't have the best situation, even with one of your comfort picks. But I've been pretty proud of how he's been able to kind of manage these front lines for Supernova.
He's doing good on the Scion. This is a champ that he's played well all year.
Yep.
Been able to find some big plays on this champ too, which we don't usually say about Scion players, but it's part of what makes Hoarder such an exciting player. It feels like he sees a lot of angles that other players don't. So we'll see if Hoarder can continue to try and make something happen. I mean, again, this game is really stabilized, but Supernova very happy about that. If they maintain a 3K gold lead, you got Sivir to IE. You're going to have a Victor Deathcap, or Zanya's coming in next. It's going to be really good. So I think, yeah, Supernova very happy with where things are at right now. I mean, Jerry is really far ahead in this game. Just has to be able to auto-attack in these fights to really be A-okay. Does have a cleanse, which I like this game. I mean, Spell Shield obviously is the thing on Sivir, but when you're going up against Leona plus Seraphine, I think taking the cleanse is very smart. Can just guarantee you get a lot of mileage out of that spell too.
Both teams really just putting bodies around this top side. How important the Avalanche would be with the double objectives here as they do start it up Blue Otter. They're trying to sneak it. They're trying to be sneaky. There's a little bit of response. TP's coming out. That's going to be immediately from Hoarder. They're trying to get it. It's about half health. I don't think they can do it fast enough. They're going to try to burn it. There comes Dardoch. They're going to try to get in. Quacker's just going for the Death Realm on Dardoch. They've got to burn the Atacon. Blue Water. They turn it. They get it. Now they're going to sacrifice Quacker. He's trying to take down Dardoch. Dardoch dies in the solo polo in the Death Realm. Here comes Blue Water's Revengeance. As they try to get Scary Jerry. Array steps too far forward. They're trying to take this AoE down. Quacker's got an angle here. Blue Water look for the engage. Can't find it on Scary Jerry. And now Blue Water, they're circling around this fight. It's a 4v5. But Supernova, they find the pick. They take down Kryra. And here comes Supernova like a bullet train as they take down Rovex 2. They take the full lead even after losing the Atacon. They'll find the fight.
ABO lost his flash at the end. The big key to that, though, Kryra got caught out by the gravity well, and that re-engage on the Scary Jerry. The first one got his flash, but he couldn't find a second. He got picked off after that stun. And the W's, the healing that Samakin's able to bring on this Seraphine, just not enough to get through that damage of the Victor and Sivir at this point. Supernova, though, hitting this is a little risky. Quacker doesn't have flash, doesn't have Death Realm, but you might be able to get in and mess with this. Yeah, they're too low. This is huge.
Oh, he grabbed them. A Blaze Ult goes down. A beautiful double W from Samakin. Array cleaning house. And Blue Water, that magic is right back in form.
A monumental pitch in this game as Array trying to escape.
He's trying to get away.
He's going to have to take the wave. Dardoch will find him, but that's no Baron. It will be soul point for Blue Water. Screw your Zeri. Go secure the dragon.
Oh,
Wait, Array getting out.
Absolutely dirty. Array on the other side of Samakin. These two guys have been having a huge series.
Oh my god, I mean, just chaos. I think it really benefits Blue Water in that, like, still game state, that stagnant game state. We have seen Blue Water just not be able to get things done, but the force of the Otacon into that giant fight ends up being a big one for them. As Kryra gets themselves a soul point, they close that gold gap. And yes, the Supernova scaling, it's real. It
We
can
have
be
to look at
online,
this.
but Blue Water's not going down without a fight. We've seen so many fights where Quacker has Death Realms, the Scion. He can't kill the Scion. He can kill the Kiana as he one-shots Dardoch. And then the back half, do have to give Supernova credit. They held on pretty well here. Array getting gapped. Really good spacing by Scary Jerry to dodge out of that Zenith point. That hits, that's big. We did see Kryra burn the flash to Sivir before when he tried to go in. That one, though, he got stunned, he flashed out, couldn't buy enough time, and Supernova ends up winning out on the wipe. But then the back half, they don't have the health bars to hit this Baron. And yes, Hoarder has a big re-engage, but the damage was already done as Array gets multiple shutdowns. And look at how much gold Array got from that fight. I want to see the items between him and Sivir when we get back here, because Array got 2 900+ gold shutdowns in that fight. So again, damage dealt. Not only is it 2k gold closed for Blue Water, all of that was on the Zeri, the exact person you wanted on.
That was a literal alley-oop play from the NBA right there. Samakin with the flash double root into Array with the lightning crash. I mean, it was beautiful. And Blue Water find themselves right back in the thick of things because of that play. They got the Infernal Soul point. They are one step away from an Infernal Soul in this comp, which gives them the damage to make that difference.
Yeah, and do think, I mean, we did see Dardoch try and take down Array there. He was an auto away. I don't know if he I think there's a world where he plays that just a wee bit better on Kiana. Might have been able to find that kill. And now, I mean, I gotta believe it's Blue Water. Like, you found a fight where you saw when you Death Realm the Kiana. That's a pretty big difference maker. I'm wondering if that's going to be where the next Death Realm is cast by Quacker, because, of course, in that fight, I mean, you see a world where you're doing that to secure Otacon, right? To remove the Smite. But now is that going to be a change of strategy? Because we thought that removing the Scion and that big frontline tool to hold the door would be the big win, right? Just removing him. But that, like, removing Kiana and having her just completely be null and void and not in the fight and dying to the Mordekaiser, I think that might be a bigger win for Blue Water, as Quacker might have to just death roll himself and make sure he's out of here.
He's in a little bit of trouble. Does have the full shield coming through for himself, though. Hoarder still very tanky, and unfortunately, when he comes out, he will find 4 members of Supernova right around him.
He's kind of fighting to the death a lot, and he did go for the Rylai's, so he's, again, delaying that Leandries. And if there's no Leandries,
they just start the Baron, though.
He can't do any real damage against the Scion, so that is Quacker. He will be gray screen for 40 minutes, or 40 seconds, and Breezy is unspotted on a very deep flank here on the Alistar. So Kryra sitting on a ward, he does not know it, and Breezy is deep.
Breezy found the flank of all flanks, goes for the double combo, ends up just finding Sammykin out of all of it, and Scary Jerry gets the kill there. As Blue Water immediately trying to flash away with Kryra. They're going to turn back onto the Baron as Supernova, and they should be able to burn this one down. Can Kryra find a way into the pit? He has no flash. He has Smite, but the body blocking from Supernova is too strong.
Yeah, Array's playing for mid. Supernova's going to play to try and defend this as well, as a great setup from Breezy and Supernova to find the flashless Sammykin. Guarantee that plays go their way. They get the Baron too. And now 90 seconds away from this Dragon spawn. They have to deny the soul and get a soul point for themselves.
That's the next big ticket item, 1 minute and 20 seconds. The deciding factor potentially for the next foreseeable future of this game. 33 minutes in, Supernova have truly scaled. 4 items there for Scary Jerry, who has had a little bit of a quiet one here, subtly getting to that point that we all know Sivers can completely carry the game.
Yep.
It is going to decide it on this potential Infernal Soul fight for Blue Water.
I think still significant that Array did get those shutdowns because he's even with the Sivir after those 2 kills, whereas this whole game, Scary Jerry has been ahead of Array. Sivir should still be more impactful in these fights, but we'll see what Array can do when he does pop the R. At the moment, Supernova using this Baron to fix their waves and make sure they take full control over the bot side jungle to ensure control over the Dragon. They do not want to give Blue Water a soul. That is a big comeback mechanic for Blue. Baron, I mean, you want to prioritize turrets and taking that, but I think denying the soul, taking away that, you know, win con, one of the greater things or further up on the top of their list in terms of what SN is trying to do with this Baron.
Solar Flare going in.
They get a
Array was moving
flash.
over.
Yeah.
Get a decent amount of damage onto Dardoch as well, and that flash like you were talking about, so that'll be revisited for sure.
I mean, I think Dragon's dead. I think Blue Water's signing up for that. Removing Victor Flash is a big win. I think that is one of the 2 most important flashes you can remove. So good find by Rovex.
Blue Water just need to not take the bait here. Supernova want this fight as they take the unstoppable onslaught from Hoarder. He's being that front line we talked about so heavily for them. TP in the back line from Quacker. He's looking for the Death Realm. Goes for a Blaze Olive. He wants to get the 1v1 as the rest of Blue Water separates Supernova away from him. A Blaze Olive. He's not going to make it away, and Quacker comes out bigger than ever. He's quacking all over Supernova, and they have just imploded. A big play from Blue Water signals the end of what once was the hearts of amateur, and now the broken Quadra for Quacker!
They're dropping the Dragon. They're trying to end. I think Supernova, they don't need to fight that. You just have to deny the soul. Instead, they sign up for the fight. They get 5 for Ode because ABO gets picked off by a Quacker Death Realm. It's a Quadra for Blue Water, and that's game as Supernova are knocked out.
Supernova might have been built for promotion, but Blue were built to make magic. The heart of NACL beats strong through the Blue Waters, and their rematch road leads them right back to conviction. Do you believe in magic?
Wow. I mean, everything comes falling apart for Supernova in the end. It just wasn't their day today, Mazel. As that's a heartbreaker for that team. Again, a promotion favorite not able to make it into the promotion tournament. And my goodness, I mean, this bracket, it's been chaotic. It's been crazy. It continues to get crazier. Blue Water is a top 3 team, Mazel.
Absolutely incredible. We thought maybe there was going to be a difference. the best of 3. What did that have to offer? Was this the full story? And it turns out, you said in that first best of 3 that Blue won all 3 games. Well, they won all 3 games this time and just eliminated one of the favorites, our first seed coming into playoffs.
Wow. I mean, it's a banger. Even Insanity's getting into the conversation on Twitter. He said it's a banger. It's just chaos. I cannot believe that Blue Water's a top 3 team. And for Samikin, I thought Samikin had a great series. For him, I know that, we cover the LPL, split 1. I can't help but think of Shanks. His run that he had through that lower bracket with Cream, he was taking down mid laners, like Rookie, like Knight, like Xiaohu, all the mid laners that have dominated the LPL. For Samikin going on this run to take down Toasty, to take down a Blaze Olive twice, who was our first team All-Pro, and then now go through Evolved and Insanity, who have been the 2 best mids throughout playoffs so far, along with Samikin. I think it'd be a hell of a story for him. It would be a hell of a story for Blue Water to overcome a lot of big names, whether you are a streamer or traditionally an LTA pro in these last 2 teams they have to get through. But Blue Water have earned the right to fight for it after so many changes in the regular season, a 2-win regular season, only fielding this roster for 2 out of the 4 weeks they had in the playoffs. They've really scaled into this bracket, and I think they're playing great Team League of Legends right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway of this whole day is the Team League of Legends. You talked so heavily about the team fight aspect that Supernova had and how incredible it started coming together. But all it takes is one big pick, a Blaze Olive not having flash, getting death realmed, and that's the avalanche that came for Supernova. And just as a little bit of bidding adieu, at least make sure you get your MVP vote in for Kryra, Samikin, Array. I think it's so hard to choose one. I think it was a holistic effort from Blue Water. I think multiple games you could call out an MVP for either side. So it was an incredible series from Blue Water.
Look, I think I would love to hear Blue Water maybe publish some comms. I don't know if they have them or not, but I guarantee that Kryra and Rovex are the ones that are talking a lot. I know that everyone contributes, but man, what a series. Quacker's name isn't on there. Quacker had a couple of really big moments, and what a bummer for SN. Like, this was a team in regular season was going so well. Really looked like at times like they were edging out Darkseer to be that second team that we really favored or thought would be fighting for this promotion tournament. For everything to end today, the same way that it ended for Darkseer at the hands of Blue Water. And the fact that SN dropped twice to Blue Water in this bracket is pretty crazy. I think it speaks to the strength that Blue Water has as a team. And yeah, I mean, this was a game that I think Supernova, they could have won. I think both games 1 and 3 were very close, very competitive. And it just was the better team play that emerged at the end of the day, which was in the hands of Blue Water today.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be all this talk about who wins MVP and stuff like that from the series, but there's a little bit of an undercurrent here. I appreciate Array's influence in a lot of these team fights. The fact that Samikin did it his way with his picks, the things that people maybe look a little bit of a side eye to, who you looked at a side eye to a little bit in some of those moments, and still coming out on top, still making good on the run that they're on, making it even further than they had pushed just last time to make it further than Blue Water had ever made it in the playoffs. And I think off the back of the way that he likes to play, his comfort zone, it has been so incredibly impressive to watch.
It's not just him, but it's Quacker too. I mean, this guy just won a best of 3 games playing Shen and Mordekaiser in 2 of them. It is Blue Water as a team. Again, a team, I mean, according to their own staff, like, we know that we're tough to prep for, is what Blue Water was talking about. I got to watch this fight one more time. ABO was in Narnia. Gets taken down by Quacker here, and then Quacker just has such a massive fight throughout. See, he resets. I mean, the Seraphine topping everyone off. It's a big supreme display of talent, but Jerry burned both his summoner spells early. We were forced out. He was taken down. He couldn't auto-attack. The Mordekaiser got a quad that's a Queen Ace. And Blue Water, man, doing what was the unthinkable when we spawned into this bracket. This was the last team into the bracket that are now 1 best of 5 away from fighting for an LTA North spot themselves. That is crazy.
It's crazy. It's magical. It's the story that writes itself at this point, and the fact that they have the possibility to continue down that road in that rematch against Conviction and like setups along those lines. I think it's so interesting how this team has come together. Yes, the drafts are really good, but man, it's the team play. It's that they're always together on the map. The counter plays that they had in this game were so impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
very appreciative of the series for a lot of reasons. I think the Blue Water showed a lot of grit, a lot of good macro, and then a lot of good answers. Also, this one's done early enough where I get to watch the first game of football for the year. Shout out to that, Blue Otter. Really, I would have loved to cast 5 games and have it go ballistic, but the Otters win in 3, and I get to watch the Cowboys get destroyed. Sign me up. It sounds like a great night to me.
It does indeed. And hey, good thing Blue Water ended up taking care of business here, as we do have our interview ready to go. It is going to be with Kryra in the jungle for Blue Water, making the rounds here on the victory as they take down Supernova. And we're going to bring him in here now, get to talk to him a little bit as we welcome Kryra in. And I think the first thing I want to ask you, Kryra, is when you came into this team, was this your expectation? I know you still have a long road to climb, but you just took down the first seed 2 times in a single bracket. Like, was this on your radar?
Yeah, I knew that no matter what team I joined, it's 3 top 2. So, I knew. Like, I knew we're just gonna win, especially against these. Like I said it once, you feel me? Like, this team is not the real first seed, and like, we beat them twice now. Maybe first time they say it's best of 3, unlucky. But now it's a 3-0 and the best of 5, you know. What can you do, you guys? It is what it is.
C'est trop bien. C'est trop bien.
Kryra, man, it was crazy. I know that your off season, like, how does it feel for you? You were you were boot camping with Dark Zero. I know that you were really holding out and hoping to land that seat, even holding out to join Blue Water. You joined week 3, and since you've joined, obviously regular season was a couple weeks of warm up to figure out where you guys have been at. But you've been playing great league. This team just feels like it's on the same page. I mean, you've been in a lot of teams at this point, Kryra, even though we haven't seen, your face in NACL too much or at the next level yet. But what makes this team different or special? Because I know that you're joining a core that has played together for a long time as you stepped in here.
What makes this team different? I don't know. I feel like, I guess everyone has like kind of their own champs, so it's like different. I guess not really meta, I guess, so maybe team not too used to it. And I guess what's good about this is that I don't know, like everyone seems kind of on the same page. They play together forever. I feel like the 3 core, right? Now we join separately, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not really different. Just a good team overall. Like, it's not really different. Just overall, great team, I think.
Like, as a jungler stepping in and playing with some of these weird picks, I mean, you guys just won 3 games where your top laner is playing a game of Mordekaiser and Shen, and then a game of like Mel and Seraphine.
Yeah.
What's that process been like for you? Because I know you have your own weird pocket picks from solo queue, of course. Like, you're a great Zac player. We've seen that as well. Obviously, you're playing pretty meta in this tournament. Your jungle, it just kind of is what it is. But is that more of talking to Quacker and Samikin, like, okay, how do these picks play out? What do we want to do? Or is that kind of like how are you figuring out how to kind of piece these things together? Because it does feel like, I think, especially in game 1 and 2, like, I gave your draft heavy edge. Like, what's it like kind of piecing together this with the team?
I'm not gonna lie, like, it's different for me. I'm used to, let's say, have mid hard prior on like Ari, Aurora, stuff that can move and fight. But I think me, I need to, and like top, I don't know, more different stuff, you know. And I mean, especially mid, I guess it's different. Like Aurora, Ari, champs like that just fight with you no matter what, they will for you. Me, I think I need to play a bit different and be more not passive, but I don't know, just play accordingly. Like it's still some different champs, right? You don't have to play the game the one way, you know. And I think right now I'm learning more, like just with these like special. I think I have to think more than like other jungler maybe. Okay. Who has like maybe a mid who's always with him, like holding his hand.
I like that. Give you the brain exercises at least. I gotta ask you though, your next matchup, you're still on rematch road, right? You took down Supernova already again. Now you're facing off against Conviction. Do you have any feelings, thoughts going into that matchup as you move forward?
Yeah, I really like last time. I mean, last time I played really bad individually in that series, so like we were just cooked, you know. I think if I play well, and I mean, we had like a bad day. We just had a worse day, you know. And we see that in playoffs, anything happen. People have better days, people have good days. You know, we beat DZ. I think they're having a bad day, and we're having a good day, you know. But I think we don't even need CNV to have a bad day. We just need like us to have a good day, and we're gonna smash CNV this time. Like I just rolled last time.
Okay, I like it. Well, I want to give you some room to give some shout outs here. Anybody you want to talk about before we let you go?
I know, shout out to all my team. Like honestly, this week of Scrim was hard. We were scrimming like LTA and stuff like that. Like we got cooked, and we didn't boom, but like it was different, you know. But on stage, you know, we still have the passion. You feel me? We want to win. I'm glad that, you know, the week of scrim, because it was kind of first week of bad scrims. I'm glad that it didn't destroy us, I guess. And honestly, who else shout out? Yeah, my whole team, and honestly, shout out to Dorado Gaming, like shout out to Doug. Like we showed
Did they still
today who
scrim
are
this
the real.
week?
I don't know, but I'm gonna say is we showed today who are the real dogs. You feel me? Like, shout out to Doug. I'm not gonna lie.
Incredible,
I appreciate that, Kryra.
Kryra.
It's been fun watching you step into teams now for the last 3 splits of NACL, level all of them up, and especially this one, but you've gone the furthest in top 3. Best of luck against Conviction next week, man. I'm excited to see whatever you guys bring to the Rift, because it's been solid, whether it's standard league or not. You guys have been playing well.
Yep.
Been fun to see it, man. And props to you on the 3-0 and giving me a short night. I don't know if you're a football fan, but enjoy some of that tonight if you want.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Kryra.
Kryra. We
Good
will
play,
talk
man.
to you soon.
Yes.
All righty,
Yeah.
we're going to take it back from Kryra, and what a series from the whole team of Blue Water. They make it happen again. They won all 3 games this time, Cubby.
I think Kryra, I know that we've talked a lot about Quacker and Samakin, some of their unique picks. I think Kryra deserves so much credit, like especially the affiliate team for Blue Water. It's TL, right? Yeah. Think of TL, like the post-game interviews, they thought swapping the jungler would kind of fix their issues. Like that was the answer to the team. Jungle's a hard role to swap. And for Kryra to step in, play with these solo laners that are so unique in what they play and what they pick, and to play as good as Kryra has been, I think it really speaks to how smart this player is. And it's just crazy to me that Kryra was passed up by so many people in NACL. To see him now with Blue Water performing at this level with this team, I think is sweet justice. This guy has been like one of my top prospects for a while
justice,
with
man.
Pulse. It has been, but to see Kryra specifically get passed up on by a lot of guys or a lot of teams, then come to this group of guys and do really well, has been great to see. So he's been a big part of the wins for Blue Water, and we'll see what he can do against Conviction, because I think if there's any point of power that Blue Water can look to try and find a win in that matchup, it's got to be Kryra versus Perry. So we'll see if he can really step up in the next matchup. Because I think a best of 5 win for Blue Water versus Conviction, it's going to have to be a good day for Kryra, because that Conviction team is playing really well.
Yeah, they are. We'll see how that all pans out. But now, before we get going, we do have to give our MVP for this series.
Who did you guys vote for? I think it was a team win. I'm
tough,
curious.
Man. It's team.
I don't think it's Quacker. I think he was the dopamine vote.
It's Samakin.
Okay.
That's the dopamine vote, man.
I think it's Samakin. I
vote.
mean, I thought the Mel pick was game defining in game 2. The Seraphine this game, the fact that he opened up with like 2 kills onto ABO, I think really helped get his team off to that good start. And then we did see that Seraphine death ball throughout the game. So props to the Sarah Queen and Samakin. He played that one damn well. And I mean, I guess Samakin just played all of his queens today, man. He's got Talia, he's got Hui, he's got Seraphine, and he's got a free dub for Blue Water, man.
It's impressive to watch a team come together like that, and I think that's what makes the Magic so much more compelling, right? And you talk about some of the history between the teams, like we aren't even mentioning as much that like Quacker has consistently talked about this potentially being his last run.
It makes me so happy watching
It's just so incredible when you see moments like this, how much emotion is powering this team to defy all odds, and they truly are, right? This has been a legendary run, surpassing that miracle run from last year for Blue Water. And that's what's so impressive. This team just continues to run it.
Yeah, and look, man, I think the Blue Water, they're going to be pretty happy that they drew Conviction and not Luminosity Gaming. The LG are still very much the favorites to win the split, and potentially could be the favorites in that promotion tournament too. I know Disguise is playing a lot better. We'll see what form they're in, though, as they have a month of prep. Sounds like Blue Water, I'm sure they were scrimming Disguise as one of those LTA teams, as they're all trying to hide their scrims in playoffs too. So definitely always a fun opportunity for NACL teams. It's pretty common this time of year. You get better scrims because teams just want to hide strats, and appreciate Kryra saying that they're getting bonked in scrims. It can still show up in 3-0 Supernova today on the Rift on stage. That's pretty sweet.
Let's go ahead and break down that bracket.
These scrims are going well. You're learning something.
Yeah, apparently. We're going to see exactly how things have panned out, obviously. From the first series we saw in this playoff, Blue Water have made the run, taking down Supernova, the first seed, as the 8th seed 2 times. And now they will face Conviction for the final spot in Grand Finals and the final spot in the LTA North Promotion Tournament.
Man, I'm looking at this bracket so far, Mazel, and I see 5 upsets on my screen.
Yeah.
It's like, given just perspective, like on paper strength versus result, 4 of them being against Supernova and Dark Zero. But yeah, it's just wild to think that
we have a bracket where it is Luminosity Gaming and then Blue Water and Conviction. I think everyone thought at this point of the year that it would be Dark Zero and Supernova left as the 3 teams with Luminosity Gaming. And if not, then we'd have surprises. Look, I'm not surprised after watching how Conviction have played this split. I think that like, I'm a little bit surprised still, but that was pretty earned after the regular season. Blue Water is shocking. Like, to be the 8th seed in this position, to beat the 1 seed twice, take down Dark Zero 2, there is no test that Blue Water is not ready for. Even that Luminosity Gaming test, we'll see if they're able to earn the right to get that one. But then versus Conviction decide the 2nd team in that LTA promotion tournament on the 11th next week.
Yep, that's the next focus for us, is that Blue Otter versus Conviction match next week, September 11th. It will be a decider on who steps forward, who steps into the challenging ring of Luminosity Gaming, but also who marks the 2nd entrance into the promotion tournament. Everything that all these teams have been putting on the line, the rematch that we could always ask for, is finally being delivered.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We're going to see if we end up, hopefully getting what we hope gets delivered. So, which is good series
games.
to wrap up
5
things in
games or
NACL.
nothing. 5 games or nothing.
Also worth noting for folks at home, there was an announcement today. I know this isn't on our run show, but the promotion tournament taking place first week of October. It's going to be 7 days with the finals in Mexico City, so we'll be remote, but book your calendars. I believe it is the 2nd through the 8th of October that we will have the tournament, so just definitely, be aware. I don't know if that's going to be on this channel or the official LTA channels, but of course, that was announced today, so definitely want to make sure you guys are aware at home as we got NACL action after we finish up our split, decide the winner. We have the real tournament, I'm going to be honest, to decide who makes it to the LTA North later on. So it is first week of October. So get that one on your calendars, and we'll see you guys there hopefully.
Yeah, it should be a banger. As one last big shout out to ProDiff.gg. You can scan that QR code. Go get one-on-one coaching from former and current pros in the LTA, NACL, and the ERLs. Give them some videos. They'll sit with you and talk you through what you can do better from their perspective. So go get some one-on-one coaching from ProDiff.gg.
Yeah, really appreciate them being our sponsor throughout the entirety of this year. I mean, once they built this one up, they decided to help us out. We even had the Armeo video breaking down some of the plays we've had in NACL, doing the same for LPL2. They support us over there. Check out the ProDiff.gg, so definitely check it out. Scan the QR code on your screen. Go support the people that are trying to do it and get their knowledge they're learning every day. Gets it upon you.
Especially with some of the games we've had. As if you missed any of the action, any of the bracket setup, go check out our socials. Be scrolling across the top left of your screen. Catch all the action that you missed here going in to the final week of NACL 2025. It's crazy that we're already here, Cubby.
It is. Honestly, it is really crazy that we're already here. So shout out to everyone that's been supporting NACL. We got one week left, 2 shows left. Appreciate anyone and everyone that tunes in and supports Tier 2 League of Legends. I think that if you are in this stream watching League, you are a true fan, because it takes a true fan to dig this deep to find competitive games to play. But you guys were treated to some fun ones today. If you guys did decide to tune in, it was a joy to do it with you, Mazel. And we'll see you guys next week. Excited to be on us next week as well. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a pleasure to finish it out strong here. Got to see Blue Otter make the big upset 3-0 over Supernova and knock Supernova out of the tournament next week. The rematch road continues against Conviction. We'll see you all on September 11th, and we'll see you on Summoner's Rift. It comes through. They get Breezy. Breezy going low. Breezy going down. He stalls impact. But look at Scary Jerry. Scary Jerry trying to outplay Array. Misses the rocket. Goes down. If that's not a culmination of this game, I don't know what is, Cubby.
I think Jerry had to go for the play onto Array. I can't blame him for that one. But it's a last-ditch effort for SN as Blue Otter trying to take this game.
They go out with a bang and maybe a shockwave felt as they do take one down, maybe a couple more. Dardoch comes back through. No Nexus towers available. Array getting locked down. Glacial Prison coming through, but Dardoch still tanky. Array finds a Blaze Olive here. Blaze Olive tries to go for the flash play. Dardoch's going to find Array. They don't have any more damage. It's Supernova. They hold the line.
Like, his baseline consistency is so big. Blaze Olive is dead, maybe?
He's not dead just yet. Look how much damage Quacker just did to Breezy. Bam! Blaze Olive is dead to Samikin from long range. Those bunny ears just got clipped at Supernova on the back foot again. Jerry, you've overstepped, you've overstayed, you're welcome! Scary is not the name! Blue Water separates Supernova away from him. Blaze Olive, he's not gonna make it away, and Quacker comes out bigger than ever. He's quacking all over Supernova, and they have just imploded! A big play from Blue Water signals the end of what once was the heart of Amateur, and now the broken Quadra for Quacker!
They're dropping the drop.
Supernova might have been built for promotion, but Blue were built to make magic. The heart of NACL beats strong through the Blue Waters, and their rematch road leads them